5:07. We'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
In just 1 year, the president has accomplished so much.
We have created 2.4 million new jobs. Unemployment claims have hit a 45-year low. We enacted the biggest tax cuts and reforms in American history.
Working toward one common goal.
To make America great again for all Americans.
What will the next 3 years look like? Follow the journey right here. AM 560, The Answer.
Save more with Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Hey, Esther, Liberty Mutual just saved me $782 on insurance.
Liberty did what?
I know. It's a lot of money, right?
What'd you say?
Liberty Mutual saved me $782.
Visit us online to get a quote.
What?
I said, visit us online to get a quote, and you can save $782. Liberty Mutual Insurance. Based on a recent countrywide new customer survey, coverage is underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company, Equal Housing Insurer.
Are you still talking?
You're up before dark 30. You don't ask for medals or even a pat on the back. But if all your hard work is indeed its own reward, then consider the new Ram Limited Tungsten Edition as a bonus. Natura Plus leather seating, premium projector headlamps, suede headliner, packaged in the highly capable, hard-working truck you'd expect from Ram. Keep doing what you do, but who says you can't do it in a nicer truck? The new Ram Limited Tungsten, the most luxurious Ram truck ever. Ram is a registered trademark of FCA US LLC.
5:09, let's get an update on the roads this early morning. Let me warn folks, Jim Talamonte knows this. He drove in this morning. He saw it. Visibility is an issue this morning. Just saw the numbers from the National Weather Service. Because of the heavy snow, visibility is down to a half mile or less in spots. So in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center this morning, we have multiple problems to worry about, Jim Talamonte, not just the snowfall on the road.
That's right, Mike. And the only good thing, I guess, about reduced visibility is no one can go really too fast to outshoot that visibility because the speeds are severely reduced. The plows simply can't keep up with how much snow that we've had, so it just takes a lot longer to get from here to there. And also that visibility is a factor for air travel. We've got about 600 canceled flights between Chicago's two airports on this day. The travel times taken with a grain of salt, especially heavy on the inbound Ryan. A number of spin-outs reported in the area between the Stevenson and the Burns Circle. Looking at 47 minutes, 95th to downtown, give or take. And outbound, about 30 minutes on the outbound side. The Edens, 30 minutes either way between Lake Cook and Montrose. Again, speeds are just severely reduced due to the snow on the roadway. The Kennedy, about 35 minutes either way between O'Hare and downtown. The Eisenhower looking at about 45 either way between 355 and Lakeshore Drive. And Stevenson about 45 either way between, the Stevenson about 45 either way between 355 and Lakeshore Drive. The Ike from 390 to downtown. Speeds are reduced on the tollways. Snow on the roadway affecting the tri-state in both directions, especially at this hour. It's coming down hard in northwest Indiana. Delays on I-65, especially southbound, bridge to US 30. On top of all that, southwest side, 63rd Street's closed, Kedzie to California after a fire, and just east of there, got a report of a person hit by a car, and people are fighting at the scene. Traffic, a service of La Quinta Inns and Suites. How do business travelers win on the road? By staying at La Quinta Inns and Suites. Relax with contemporary lobby makeovers and stylish room designs. Prepare to win at business. Book now at lq.com. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer has survived snowpocalypse, and they will be in next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast with meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Winter storm warning in effect until noon. Cold day with periods of snow accumulating 4 to 8 inches. Storm total amount 8 to 12. Travel will be extremely difficult and dangerous. High today 28 and a low 15. I'm AccuWeather's Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
It's 24 above with snow showers at O'Hare. Your next news update is at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Advanced Planning Advisors, bringing you Smart Money Talk with Mike Moylan and Rob Curvin, Saturday mornings at 6.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
But first, let's check the death count from the killer storm bearing down on us like a shotgun full of snow.
Well, Kent, as of now, the death count is 0, but it is ready to shoot right up.
Oh, my God. Damn you, snow!
Let it snow and snow.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. The signal at Ice Station Zebra is up. We'll help you get through day one of Snowpocalypse 2018. And I just have to remark on this, the newscast, the Winter Olympics opening ceremony tonight.
Yeah, I can't wait. Yeah.
It's going to be 23 degrees, and there's a freak out going on where the IOC organizing committee and South Korean officials are saying, we're going to provide blankets for people. Don't worry. Nobody's going to freeze to death.
Well, they want everybody to come to the show because the audience is part of the show for the open ceremonies.
Yeah, but the reaction to 23 degrees out.
Well, they're not the hardy Chicagoans like us.
They're hosting the Winter Olympics. Get with it.
They're not used to it. Mike, what were you saying off while we were in the break?
About
the Olympic jackets. They're
the USA men's jackets are
women's.
USA men's and women's jackets. The women's are a little bit different, by the way. They're both controlled by a smartphone.
Sexist.
But the men's logo heats and cools, I would imagine, and the women have another area that heats and cools, and it's really cool. It's controlled by your smartphone. They are providing not just a blanket, by the way, the Korean Olympic Committee. They're providing hand warmers and toe warmers. They're providing a warming seat cushion.
Oh,
now,
that's awesome.
What they did is they created an Olympic venue, 39,000 seat Olympic venue. Normally these venues, dating back to Lillehammer in 94, are partially covered, so you're not exposed to all the effects of the outdoors. Not so in Pyeongchang. They had to save a little money. No covering. You're fully exposed to the wind, and it's
so it could get down to 16 degrees.
14 to 16 with the wind chill.
I mean, it shows her feel when it's minus 25 out. Guys are taking off their shirts.
I know, it's crazy. It'll be interesting and fun to see. Some of the Japanese delegation will not show up because it's too cold.
Too cold.
Oh.
They should.
Okay,
Too cold.
let's get them some pea hats immediately.
They should do well in the events.
A place that has hosted the Winter Olympics in Nagano in 1998. So.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
It's curious. We respect other cultures, of course, and people, I guess, have different thresholds when it comes to the cold. But when I heard the report, I'm like, did he say minus 23? Because that I could understand. But no, 23 degrees.
23.
I've been dying for 23 degrees for most of the 2018 in Chicago.
Yeah.
It's just
14 degrees right now.
Well, at least they've got the climate-controlled coats that we do. I mean, Team USA, so no excuse not to win the gold.
And I'm happy I have friends that are there covering the games, and I'm so happy that Kim Jong-un's sister's there because he's not going to do anything stupid. His sister's there, right? I mean, what could go wrong? Huh?
Is this the sister?
Nothing.
Is this the sister that launched the year ago the hit on the defector in what was that, Thailand or Malaysia?
Oh, you mean
they're
I think that was the sister.
Members of the Jong family are sort of fungible until they're
replaceable,
until they're murdered, of course.
Murdered.
So it's always difficult to know who exactly gives the order. By the way, you have not a lot of people commuting this morning, and good for them because wouldn't be a lot of fun based on my 3-minute commute to the studio today.
A little toy car.
I mean, even that was a nuisance. I mean, can you imagine trying to come up to Kennedy?
No.
That wouldn't be good.
So thank you to Jeff Reisman and Debbie Litwin for putting us up at the Sheridan.
Yeah, so that we could do this show this morning. Steve on 88, FYI, today Steve on 88 is Steve on Sealy Posturepedic. Prepare for a blizzard of text messages this morning, which I suspect is going to be a lot of people.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, who's going to work today? 312-642-5600, Turnkey.pro answer line.
Well, nobody will call because nobody's up at 5 o'clock or in commuting because they don't have to be today.
Work.
Yeah,
and
it's
if you
just
call
us.
in, use your,
We're like the last outpost of communication.
Well, I want you to know, too, that I spent a lot of time with your dog, Hayek, yesterday. Hayek needs a trainer. I'm not going to sugarcoat this. We're having an intervention
No,
right
he
now.
doesn't.
No, Hayek
He's a free
needs a trainer.
spirit.
No,
He's not going to be bound by the rules of the man.
Oh, so he'll drop a deuce on the carpet in the hallway? Yeah, no.
Hey.
No,
when you
no,
got to
no.
go, you got to go.
He went outside. I brought him outside. I have video I'm going to post of Bunky and Hayek. They got along amazingly. They had so much fun. I spent an hour with them. They just ran in the snow.
Yeah.
Couldn't catch their breath. Ran again, then ran out the front door. They were amazing together. But Hayek and Bunky both, did their duty. And then walking inside, then Hayek decides to, I'm not done yet. And drop a deuce in the carpet.
You think that means he hasn't been trained. In point of fact, he learned that from the old man. You got to mark your territory.
Oh, that is.
Yeah.
But I have to tell you, Hayek is with Bunky this morning, too. And Hayek was very sad when I went to work today. Hayek was very, very depressed. She got very, because.
It's a he, first of all.
Oh, sorry, he. Was sad.
I don't know why Hayek it doesn't connote he. It's fairly
Well,
straightforward.
Bunky is a she.
So you can't tell the difference between
No, I can't.
male and
I
female?
Say the pronoun, I can't get it right.
All right. Ed in Oak Brook is one hardy, brave soul. Ed, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, you know what? I actually have to go into work today because I got to run special reports and all that good stuff.
The TPS report, sure.
The Eisenhower was very, very slow and snow all over the place, and I see a ton of guys plowing and shoveling, and I was actually out there shoveling myself. So this is great. I mean,
Wait a second,
I'm
Ed,
glad I'm not in South Korea freezing.
Yeah, 23. Ed, are you shoveling the Eisenhower all by yourself?
That's a daunting task.
Well, almost, because my driveway is just as long as the Eisenhower. So I was up at 2 o'clock shoveling snow this morning.
Well,
All right.
listen to you, Ed.
How long's your commute?
Well, I drive from Oak Brook to River Forest, and I take the Metro in, and then so it's like almost an hour and a half and all that good stuff.
All right.
But I sit here in my car listening to you guys between, let's say, 5 to 5:32.
Nice.
And then I take the train.
All right, very good. Thanks for the call, Ed.
Ed.
Be safe out there. Appreciate
All right.
it.
Speaking
yeah,
of,
you guys do a great job. All right, talk
Thanks,
to you later.
thanks,
Bye.
Ed.
speaking of calls, I got a good call last night.
This is an important message from Chicago Public Schools. This message is recorded in English, immediately followed in Spanish. Attention parents and guardians. This is Chicago Public Schools with important information.
Yeah, we heard you the first
Classes
time.
for all CPS students will be canceled on Friday, February 9th due to extreme weather conditions. Classes are scheduled to resume on Monday, February 12th.
Is this going somewhere?
That's-
Yeah, I got
I'm
it.
just saying,
Classes are canceled.
400,000 students are home today. I'm very sad. Peyton and Eli.
Well,
Who wants to come over and take care? Who wants to walk those dogs? Huh?
330 students may be home from school today in CPS because 400,000 don't go there anymore. Tom in Oak Brook, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, guys. Snow is nice and light. It comes off the ground easily.
Mhm.
Lots of traction on the roads, even without salt. So people just take their time. We'll all get through it.
All right.
Thanks, Tom.
Thanks, Tom.
Yeah,
Thanks
taking
for
your
that.
phone calls all morning.
Hey,
312-642-5600.
Yeah, we'll take all the people that are experts in the business of snow, and
Did
that's
you
good to know, actually.
Right, but in your little toy car, well, your fancy toy car, not little. Did you spin around
No.
driving a block? You
No.
okay?
Well, would
I-
you like to
fine.
tell your story of spinning
No,
around?
no.
Oh.
I'm just saying it because
No.
sometimes the snow falls and it's slick. Sometimes it falls and you can pack it.
I am a little worried about Sam Unsicker. This is the gentleman from, since you mentioned toys, Big Monster Toys, whose name
yeah.
you assassinated earlier in the
that's
week.
what I am. I'm a name assassinated.
Yeah,
Sam,
that's right.
I know Sam.
Yeah, so
I
I'm a
think I
little
called
bit
him
worried about
Steve.
him and his smart car. Silly. Paul in New Lenox.
Hey, Ice Station Zebra, this is Papa Alpha Umbrella Lima. I am reporting that from the New Lenox Frankfurt area that Route 45 is wide open. I'm so happy that the weathermen did their job and scared everybody off the road today. So I've got an easy drive in so far, hitting I-80 to I-57.
I love it. Thanks for the call, Paul, and very impressed. Actually, that is sort of thing. It could end up taking me 15 minutes to get back downtown today because nobody else will be on the road.
Yeah.
Huh.
You just hope that they plow it.
Always looking at the upside of life, Paul in New Lenox. Joe in Oak Lawn.
Hey, how you doing, guys?
Good.
Driving in right now. I'm on Harlem going towards Archer to get to 55. Traffic's very slow. I wish these people would figure out how to drive. It's not like the first time we've been in snow before. This is crazy. Everybody overreacts to this stuff. I'm 57 years old, and I've had a lot of winters, and this is no different than any other one.
There you go, Joe. Thanks for the call. The grizzled perspective of a Chicago veteran.
Sherry's driving to work. He's headed for Weber's Bakery this morning there on Archer Avenue. I know exactly where he's going.
Sure.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
Really, I got to tweet these pictures. Bunky was walking Hayek last night. It is the cutest thing. Put Hayek's leash in her mouth and said, "Come on, you're going this way."
Yeah.
Really.
Like Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly and Step Brothers.
Forecast for today. Well, it is the big story of the day. We are going to have more snow throughout the day. Storm warning expires at 6 p.m. Totals anywhere from 10 to 12 inches. And then tomorrow, mostly cloudy, cold, a little snow up to 1 inch. And Sunday, a little AM snow, 1 inch. Wow. Otherwise, very cold with clouds, a high of just 24 degrees. Let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Anybody on the roadways this morning? Here's Jim Telemonte.
Yeah, there is some congestion, Amy and Dan. Good morning. And it kind of depends on where you are, is how bad it is. Not that it's good anywhere, but we had one of the callers tell us that things didn't look too bad in the New Lenox area and I-80 and I-57. Usually those are some of the worst places to be. Not the case this morning. So again, everywhere you do have reduced visibilities and you do have to reduce speeds at least somewhat, and in some places a lot. Having said that, we do have some congestion and delays just because it's slow going due to the conditions on the Chicago expressways. The Edens, give or take some time here with the travel times, but about 30 minutes either way between Lake Cook and Montrose. This is mainly due to conditions more than congestion. Kennedy, looking at about 35 minutes either way between O'Hare and downtown. Eisenhower, 45 minutes either way between 390 and the Circle. To Stevenson, about 45 either way between 355 and the Drive. Ryan's especially bad this morning, especially inbound. It's slow going most of the way in from 95th and especially from the Skyway into the Circle. A lot of spinouts in the area between Roosevelt and downtown. 40 minutes, 95th to downtown, outbound 30. Slow going and slippery on the Skyway. Tollways are not as bad as the expressways, but the Tri-State has delays, especially southbound the Grand Avenue curve to St. Charles. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
The evidence mounts. A toddler nearly drowns and symptoms are reversed. A stroke patient regains mobility. An autistic child speaks for the first time in 14 years. A quarterback who suffered multiple concussions and memory loss has remarkable improvement. What's the connection? They all underwent hyperbaric oxygen therapy. It's approved for a variety of conditions like concussion, cerebral palsy, immune deficiency, fibromyalgia, consequences of stroke, and more. The Hyperbaric Centers of Chicago are leaders in HBOT that accelerates the body's natural healing process by breathing 100% oxygen in a total body chamber with increased atmospheric pressure. Your insurance may cover hyperbaric oxygen therapy. To learn more, call Hyperbaric Centers of Chicago in Deerfield at 847-945-HBOT or visit hbot.md 847-945-4268 or hbot.md. Hyperbaric Centers of Chicago, the hyperbaric therapy experts.
Highland Park Ford Lincoln's in the house. Here's Alan Marty.
For 30 years, we've been making people happy with incredible deals and service.
We're the best Ford Lincoln dealers in town.
Because making people happy makes us happy.
No doubt. This is one happy place.
Heck, we just break into dance all the time.
We don't break into dance at the dealership.
Sure we do.
No, we really don't.
We could. Come on, Marty, dance with me.
The Highland Park Ford Lincoln Superstore. Call 1-800-984-9000 or go to alanmarty.com.
Admit it.
Okay, you're a lovely dancer.
Thank you. This is Alan Marty. Deal with us.
You wanted to be a teacher when you were little, but as you grew up, things changed. Teaching just didn't seem like the best option anymore, so you decided to become something else. But what would your 12-year-old self say? Interesting and innovative things are happening in teaching today, so it's time to put it back on your list. Don't try to convince yourself otherwise. You had it right the first time.
Find out how you can make more at teach.org. Make more. Teach. Brought to you by Teach and the Ad Council.
With so many homeowners fearful of poor service and not knowing who to trust, home remodeling is often delayed. But do you ever wonder why so many remodeling experiences go so wrong? Advanced Design Studio thinks remodeling shouldn't be so painful. Will the project stay on budget and be done on time? If you're nervous about home remodeling, you're not alone. Whether you're contemplating a new kitchen or bath, want an addition to your home, or in need of a whole house transformation, Advanced Design Studio is the company to call. They understand your fears and know how to overcome them. Backed by 25 years of producing positive remodeling experiences, Advanced Design's client service process, called Common Sense Remodeling, averts remodeling project delays, budget overruns, and produces a rewarding remodeling experience. Make this the year you overcome your fears and remodel your home, bath, or kitchen. Don't be a bad remodeling story. Use common sense and visit AdvancedDesignStudio.com for more information or call 847-836-2600.
1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. 3 seconds a day. That's all it takes to finally surpass your weight loss goals. With Calitrin, it's seriously so easy.
My name is Melissa. I've been taking Calitrin and I've lost 22 pounds.
This is Dixie from Bell Fountain, Ohio. I ended up losing 28 pounds and about 6 inches.
Hi, this is Susan. I take Calitrin. I've lost about 60 pounds.
Hi, I'm Alex Trevino from Austin, and I've been on Calitrin now for a little while and lost 40 pounds. Went from a size 51 waist to a size 42, and never felt better in my life. It's the best thing that I've ever taken. I've tried it this market, and nothing has beat or compared to this at all. I would highly recommend it.
If you're ready to have your own success story, you can join the hundreds of thousands who have lost weight with the #1 healthy choice for weight loss. Just go to toploss.com to check out Calitrin for yourself or call 1-800-325-4366. Again, that's toploss.com.
AM 560. The Answer.
Yeah, so the whole team was put up at the Sheridan.
Yeah, but
down the street.
poor Justin and Keith had to share a room. How did that go, guys? Huh?
I see 2 smiles. I got a thumbs up. Yeah,
That's not a pillow.
those
Keith, get
aren't
off of me.
pillows. Oh boy, I'm impressed that Justin knows that Planes, Trains, and Automobiles reference.
Yeah.
That's before his time.
Because he didn't know who Joe Namath was. It's okay.
Namath?
No, the
Joe,
Namath?
Joe Namath?
It's all right, Justin. You're young. He's only 22 years old.
I
you
know.
that?
He's a zygote. I got
Yes.
it. Yeah.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
How did you cope with the 6-hour federal government shutdown? We'll take your tales of survival at 5:38.
But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott. Mike, why weren't you at the hotel last night?
Well,
or were you?
I was.
You were?
I didn't get there till 9 o'clock. We had a choir concert last night. Ended at 8:30.
Do-gooder, huh?
So there you go. And it was quiet, and it was lovely, and I didn't have any kids or any noise for 6 hours. It was beautiful. I love my family, but it was nice to be quiet. Yes.
And have your own room.
And have my own room.
Because last time we did this, you
I
shacked
bunked
up with Keith. Or
yeah.
bunked, excuse me.
Yeah, I didn't shack up with Keith.
Sorry.
We don't shack up.
Sorry.
We barely even knew each other were there. we went straight to our separate side of the room, and we never saw each other
after that night.
Well, that's another story for another time. We drove here together.
Okay.
24 degrees and snow showers. President Trump expected to sign a bill ending the latest government shutdown this morning. House Speaker Paul Ryan seemed confident heading into the overnight vote.
Republicans will deliver more than our share of votes this morning. I urge my friends in the minority to stand with us on this bipartisan bill.
In the end, the vote 240 to 186. The bill funds the government, greatly increasing defense spending for 2 years. The bipartisan deal also raises the federal debt ceiling until March of next year. The Winter Olympics begins today in Pyeongchang, South Korea. Opening ceremonies from 90 athletes from 90 countries will march into the stadium. The spotlight will shine brightest on teams from the host, South Korea, and rival North Korea. Meantime, a contagious virus is spreading at the Winter Olympics. Confirmed cases of the norovirus rising to 86 yesterday. South Korea's Centers for Disease Control says over 1,000 workers are now being quarantined. The White House still avoiding comment on this week's wild Wall Street ride.
Well, the president, like the rest of the White House, is concerned about long-term economic indicators and factors, and the fundamentals in terms of the long term are very strong.
Speaking broadly, White House spokesman Raj Shah brushed off the daily ups and downs of the financial markets that dropped about 1,000 points yesterday. The world is apparently facing a tequila shortage this morning. The heartland of the tequila industry, Mexico's western state of Jalisco, is facing a shortage of agave plants. Some producers are being forced to use younger plants to compensate for the shortage of fully grown agave. The younger plants produce less tequila. We'll focus on the snow numbers for a moment. About 5 inches of snow officially has fallen at O'Hare in the overnight hours. We could see up to a foot of snow across the area. The National Weather Service says the winter storm warning will expire at noon now, not 6 p.m. as earlier forecast. Numerous schools are closed around the area. Classes canceled across the region from the Quad Cities all the way to northwest Indiana. The latest winter storm has also wreaked some havoc at Chicago's 2 main airports. Jim Talamonte will be along shortly with the numbers on that part of the story. In other news we're following, 2 are hurt after a Metra train hits a van on Chicago's northwest side, not far from the Montclair station. Man accused of killing a Chinese-born University of Illinois scholar could find out next week when he's going to trial. And the celebration for the Eagles' first Super Bowl championship still is not done. The team took one final victory lap yesterday down Broad Street. Hundreds of thousands of fans were in attendance. Many key members of the team spoke to the crowd, but apparently center Jason Kelce stole the show.
We're a bunch of underdogs. And you know what underdogs is? It's a hungry dog. And Jeff Stoutland has had this in our building for 5 years. It's a quote in the O-line room that has stood on the wall for the last 5 years. Hungry dogs run faster. And that's this team.
The Eagles beat the Patriots in Minneapolis this past Sunday to accomplish the historic feat. By the way, the first professional championship for Philadelphia since the Phillies won it in 2008, only the second in 35 years for the town. Blackhawks beaten by the Stars last night 4-2. Fighting Illini fell in Big Ten hoops to Wisconsin. Over in the Valley, Illinois State handled SIU 76-68. The news service of La Quinta Inns and Suites. How do business travelers win on the road? By staying at La Quinta Inns and Suites. Relax with contemporary lobby makeovers, stylish room designs. Prepare to win at business. Book now at lq.com. 5:35 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher reacts to the State of the Union.
Real simple takeaway. If you weren't impressed by the president's speech, not just the delivery, but the message, what was contained, the spirit of the message, the direction of the country, the State of the Union, if you weren't impressed, then it's real simple. Your lack of objectivity blinds you from the truth.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
See the nation's largest auto show at McCormick Place, February 10th through the 19th. Log on to ChicagoAutoShow.com for details and download the official Auto Show app.
Abilify, Wellbutrin, Seroquel, Rexulti. These drugs are commonly prescribed for depression treatment. 2018 can be the year you win the war on depression.
New year, new you.
Drugs for depression can be dangerous, have side effects, and really just mask the problem. TMS therapy treats the source of your depression. Cure or remission is here. HBR centers are proud to bring TMS therapy to Chicagoland and Milwaukee. Millions have been treated, and the results are outstanding.
TMS therapy is drug-free and non-invasive.
How does it work? TMS therapy uses safe, small magnetic fields, similar to those used in an MRI. They stimulate and activate mood centers, causing long-term medication-free relief. It's FDA cleared and covered by most insurance, including Blue Cross Blue Shield and Medicare. Make the call, ask questions, bring an end to your depression. HPR centers in Chicagoland and Milwaukee.
800-604-0208. 800-604-0208.
HPR centers. Go to endmydepression.com.
5:36 and a check of the morning roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Well, Mike, as you and Dan and Amy have been discussing this morning, it's slow going throughout the area. Roads are snow covered as the white stuff continues to come down. We have updated flight numbers as well. The cancellations are over 750 between Chicago's 2 airports, 532 of those at O'Hare and about 220 at Midway. So obviously, check before heading to either airport that you're flying out or trying to or picking someone up. On the expressways, take travel times with a grain of salt. They're rough estimates. It's about 30 minutes on the 8-ins either way between Lake Cook and Montrose due to the snow, not the congestion. Traffic volume's lighter than normal. Inbound Kennedy past Montrose can crash in the 3 right lanes. About 40 minutes O'Hare to downtown outbound 35. Eisenhower about 50 minutes either way between 390 and the Burn Circle. Stevenson looking at about 50 minutes either way between 355 and the Drive due to snow on the roadway. Ryan, 40 minutes 95th to downtown with a number of spin-outs close to downtown. And outbound, it's slow going as well. Speeds are reduced on the other expressways and on the tollways, especially the north-south, the Tri-State and the Veterans Memorial in both directions. Speeds are reduced due to the snow, and that's true in northwest Indiana as well. Traffic is the service of Audible. Stay motivated, informed, and entertained. The power of audiobooks. Listen anytime, anywhere with the Audible app. Start a 30-day trial, and your first one is free. Just go to audible.com. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Well, you know it's almost bad when the Amazon Fulfillment Center in Monee is opening 2 hours late. You might not get your Amazon package in the south suburbs this morning on time. Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Cold, snow, you know that. Anywhere from 8 to 12 inches. When it's all said and done this afternoon, travel will be dangerous this morning and a high of 28. Currently 24. Next news coming up at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is sponsored by Wine Time Radio. Every Saturday at 10 p.m. on AM 560. Explore the wonderful world of wine with host James Crooker and Rob Lehner.
Why are you holding my hand? Where's your other hand? Between 2 pillows. Those aren't pillows.
It's an ugly scene at the Sheraton last night.
With Justin and Keith Conrad, who had to share a room.
All right, also an ugly scene in Washington because 6 hours of government shutdown you may not have known because you were asleep, and then they settled this matter in the wee hours this morning. Actually, not too long ago, about an hour ago or so. And, of course, the cause of controversy and consternation for all the big spenders in D.C. was one junior senator from Kentucky named Rand Paul, who wanted to attach an amendment to the 2-year budget deal struck by congressional leaders to keep the spending caps, the so-called sequestration caps, in place. And here's the case that Rand Paul made.
The reason I'm here tonight is to put people on the spot. I want people to feel uncomfortable. I want them to have to answer people at home who said, how come you were against President Obama's deficits, and then how come you're for Republican deficits? Isn't that the very definition of intellectual dishonesty? If you were against President Obama's deficits and now you're for the Republican deficits, isn't that the very definition of hypocrisy? People need to be made aware. Your senators need to answer people from home, and they need to answer this debate. We should have a full-throated debate. My amendment says this simply. We should obey the budget caps. What are budget caps? These are limits we placed on spending, both military and non-military. We placed them in 2011, and guess what? For a year or two, government actually shrunk. But now government's taking off, and this new stimulus of deficit spending will be as big as President Obama's stimulus. Don't you remember when Republicans howled to high heaven that President Obama was spending us into the gutter, spending us into oblivion? And now Republicans are doing the same thing. And so I ask the question, whose fault is it? Republicans? Yes. Whose fault is it? Democrats? Yes, it's both parties' fault.
And then his neighbor jumped over the rail and tackled him in the well of the Senate. Yeah.
His grass clippings were on his lawn.
Does Rand Paul have a point? And hint, yes. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 646-36DA, turnkey.pro text line. Yeah, I mean, when you get done with your sausage links and bagel, what do you think?
I'm on my second meal right now. All right. I actually thought that they'd tackle immigration, but Mitch McConnell said after last night, excuse me, I'm eating, hold on, that they're now next week going to open up a debate on immigration.
Yeah, I'm sorry. The question on the floor is
Yes,
whether Rand Paul had a point or not.
Yeah, and
about
I know
the hypocrisy of Republicans, big spending Republicans who just tacked on $300 billion over the next 2 years by blowing the sequestration caps.
And I've always heard that my grandchildren are going to have to pay for that. But I know, where are the deficit hawks? I don't understand where everybody went. I mean, for 8 years, they railed on Obama for excessive government spending. And now...
Which was true, by the way.
I know, but
you're not supposed to sign on to it. Well, that's
Right.
it. And it's not just the deficit hawks or debt hawks. It's shrinking government, shrinking the government footprint, shrinking the government's involvement in your life. That's the point of the reduction in spending in places where the government shouldn't be at all or shouldn't be as pronounced as it is. And Rand Paul made this other point, which is true, about
sequestration.
About who do we have in charge when the Democrats are in charge, and then who do we have in charge when the Republicans are in charge? Where do all the conservatives go when the Republicans are in charge?
When the Democrats are in power, Republicans appear to be the conservative party. But when Republicans are in power, it seems there is no conservative party. You see, opposition seems to bring people together, and they know what they're not for, but then they get in power and they decide, we're just going to spend that money too. We're going to send that money to our friends this time. The hypocrisy hangs in the air and chokes anyone with a sense of decency or intellectual honesty. The right cries out, our military is hollowed out. Even military spending has more than doubled since 2001. The left is no better. Democrats don't oppose the military money as long as they can get some for themselves, as long as they can get some for their pet causes. The dirty little secret is that by and large, both parties don't care about the debt.
Yeah, and that's
true.
That commentary could easily be applied to Illinois, too. Bruno in Naperville.
Yeah, so a few points. One, Rand Paul is absolutely correct. This budget's going to be a disaster. It's going to swell the deficit and add tremendously to the debt. Number two, you know, I do believe that we need to start rebuilding the military, but the fact of the matter is we're incurring a lot of military costs just by being in NATO, defending European countries that don't pony up their share, by contingency operations in Afghanistan. So if they want to save money, that's where they need to save, and they can use that money towards reconstituting, new equipment and stuff like that. Finally, Donald Trump, what I read is that he actually signed a, what do you call it when they raise the debt ceiling increase out for, I think he said till next March. So now he's given away all of his leverage because that debt ceiling thing is something that he could have used every 6 months or so, raising the debt ceiling 6 months at a time in exchange for something else, or he would shut the government down. So he gave away his leverage.
That's exactly.
That's what I have to say.
Those are excellent points, Bruno. That's right. He did. And again, just this needs to be impressed. We talk about debt and deficit, these abstractions, government spending. This is about government power. The power of the purse. The spend is power. So what you're actually doing is giving an unrestrained government even more power. This minor restraint that had been somewhat effective, as Rand Paul referenced. Now you've just unleashed, you've snipped that restraint, and you've further unfurled the predatory government. That's conservative? No. And Rand Paul's not the only one. I mean, there are members of the House and Senate who vote against the deal for various reasons, but he's the one that took to the Senate floor to make the argument. And you got to make the argument if you want to have the debate. And just pressing red or pressing green when you're supposed to isn't good enough. So I don't always agree with Rand Paul, but on this one I do, and I applaud him for pulling the brake on this and at least forcing a conversation, however fleeting it's likely to be. Tom in Deer Park.
Yes, he's correct. And if there's anything I think we've learned over the last 2 years about the American public, and specifically so-called conservatives themselves, is that the public is not conservative. We want the spending to go on and on and on. which is why our representatives in Washington are happy to go ahead and do so. And the thing is, if you have kids out there like I do, or you plan on living another 20 or 30 years, I don't know when it will, but it will hit the fan. And we're going to pay for all of this. And then let's get to the ballot box we go. Oh, now who are we going to vote for? What do you think, Dan?
Yeah. Well, I think, Tom, that it's another file it's another case study to file under. We get the representation we deserve. Thanks, Tom.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Somebody featured in the Time magazine Me Too movement has been accused of groping a male legislative staffer. But first, here's your forecast, and it's a doozy, let me tell you. We have 4.5 inches so far at O'Hare. When it's all said and done, we will have 10 to 12 inches of the white stuff, a high of 28 degrees. It's a snowfall. The system's going to be percolating over the area for a while. Winter storm warning ends at 6 p.m. this evening. And then tomorrow, we don't get a break, anywhere from 1 to 3 inches, a high of 23. And on Sunday, say it ain't so. Yes, it's snow. A little AM snow up to an inch. Otherwise, cold, clouds, a high of 24. Let's get into the alarm detection systems. Traffic Center, here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. Not a whole lot is percolating at Chicago's airports except for the coffee because not a lot of planes are moving. Got more than 750 cancellations. The vast majority of those at O'Hare this morning. The expressways and tollways, it's slow going as the snow continues to fall. The Edens, about 30 minutes either way between Lake Cook and Montrose. This isn't congestion. It's just reduced speeds due to the conditions. Kennedy looking at about 38 minutes either way between O'Hare and downtown. There is a crash inbound past Montrose in the free right lanes rollover. Slow going on 190 going to and from O'Hare. The Eisenhower about 50 minutes either way between 390 and downtown. Stevenson about 50 either way between 355 and Lakeshore Drive. The Ryan 40 minutes 95th to downtown. It's really snowy and slippery between 18th and Roosevelt. A number of spinouts there. Speeds are reduced on the tollways, especially the Tri-State and the Veterans Memorial. 80-94, slow going in both directions between the Tri-State and the Indiana Toll Road, and of course beyond that as well, because it's coming down in Porter and LaPorte counties. And speeds are reduced everywhere. Jim Talamonte and the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Hey,
text from Ann B. Davis's bowling ball.
Yeah.
12 inches of snow in Chicago means it's that much easier to track you.
Oh, yes. Hey, as flu season approaches, and it's here, you know how to protect yourself against colds and viruses, but do you know how to protect your computer network? Ransomware, viruses, hacks, intrusions can cripple your company's computer network, stopping business in an instant. Is your network safe and protected? Can your data be restored easily? If not, then you need to call Turnkey IT today. Turnkey IT provides frontline security for your network and its data. So if there's a email attachment opened in error or network intruder, Turnkey IT immediately knows and remedies the situation. They'll arm your network with cutting-edge antivirus, disaster recovery, and proactive monitoring software systems. Here's what you do. You can visit them over the phone, or you can have somebody come visit your office. Turnkey IT, your network safeguard against this season's worst bugs. See what a dose of Turnkey's proactive support can do for you. It is easy. Visit turnkey.pro. That's turnkey.pro.
If you have pain, listen up. Dennis Prager here. You don't need to live in pain. Let me repeat that. You don't have to live in pain. Chronic pain is the worst, whether it's from an accident or pain that just develops. So, Chicagoland, you're in luck. Dr. Ken Candido is one of the nation's most respected and successful pain doctors. He's been voted one of Chicago's best pain doctors several times. Bottom line, he's the pain doctor you need. Dr. Candido of Chicago Anesthesia and Pain Specialists will help you get off pain medication and all of its side effects. How? By finding the source of your chronic pain and fixing it.
This is Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. Let's make you pain-free.
Call Dr. Ken Candido and make an appointment with a cutting-edge, respected, and successful pain physician. Go to mypainchicago.com. That's mypainchicago.com. Thousands have been helped with their chronic pain, and you can be the next one. Get the phone number and all the info you need at mypainchicago.com.
Famous conservative quotes, presented by Automated Systems.
Our second president and true patriot, John Adams, said, "They define a republic to be a government of laws and not of men." How true, especially in today's political climate?
I know you support companies that share your conservative values. For FDA-regulated staffing needs, Automated Systems provides top talent, from experienced quality control and quality assurance engineers to top validation and compliance experts. Depend on Automated Systems. Hiring the best is critical to success. ASI Resources are all degreed professionals with decades of experience in manufacturing, automation, and FDA compliance. That's why ASI is retained by all of Chicagoland's Fortune 500 life science companies to successful startups. For a staffing evaluation, call Laz at Automated Systems, toll-free 844-HIRE-ASI, or visit automatedsys.com.
There's still time to make and keep that New Year's resolution to get your space organized. If you're tired of trying to find tools or equipment you know you have, then you need StoreLock. It's the best tool cabinet and modular system you'll ever buy. This is the year to finally get your garage or your business efficient and looking fantastic. Each StoreLock storage system includes custom dividers, liners, and layouts. And these systems are tough. Each drawer holds up to 400 pounds. They're made exact to order in the size and color you want and ships fully assembled. All StoreLock products are 100% USA made too, right here in Kankakee, Illinois, and have a 55-year unconditional guarantee. So get organized now. Visit StoreLock.com. That's STORLOC.com. See StoreLock in person. Click the Events tab on StoreLock.com to find a trade show near you. That's StoreLock.com.
This is Michael David from Seattle. I'm 51 years old, and 6 months ago, I started taking Andro 400 to increase my testosterone. Since then, I've lost 35 pounds of fat, and my waist went from size 38 to size 32. I have more energy, and I look and feel 20 years younger. And now my wife tells me I have to take Andro 400.
Hi, this is Ron Johnson from Utah. After 10 weeks of taking Andro 400, I lost 13 pounds, and my waist went from 36 to 33. That was 8 years ago. I continued to take Andro 400, and I've maintained my weight at 172. Gained muscle and energy. I'm 63 now and feel better than I have in 30 years.
Andro 400, the natural way to increase testosterone, lose belly fat, gain energy, and feel great. Try Andro 400, the safe, effective, affordable way to boost your testosterone. Go to andro400.com or call 888-400-0435. 888-400-0435.
Message and data rates may apply.
You don't follow the herd. You blaze your own trail. And you're as adventurous in the kitchen as you are in life. Whether it's paddleboard yoga or Peruvian steak, you're the first to try new things. So are we. We're Green Chef, the first USDA-certified organic meal kit delivery service. We offer delicious meal plans for 7 different lifestyles: paleo, gluten-free, keto, vegetarian, vegan, carnivore, and omnivore. Want to be the first of your friends to try Green Chef? Discover our exclusive introductory deal by texting the keyword BITE to 543-543. We believe that cooking, just like life, should be all about experience and flavor. And by exploring dinner options with Green Chef, you'll try new recipes, techniques, and ingredients for bold, new restaurant-level flavors. It's like enjoying a new cooking class, but in your own home. To experience this culinary adventure, text now and discover our exclusive introductory deal. Text BITE to 543-543. That's BITE to 543-543.
The evidence mounts. A toddler nearly drowns and symptoms are reversed. A stroke patient regains mobility. An autistic child speaks for the first time in 14 years. A quarterback who suffered multiple concussions and memory loss has remarkable improvement. What's the connection? They all underwent hyperbaric oxygen therapy. It's approved for a variety of conditions like concussion, cerebral palsy, immune deficiency, fibromyalgia, consequences of stroke, and more. The Hyperbaric Centers of Chicago are leaders in HBOT that accelerates the body's natural healing process by breathing 100% oxygen in a total body chamber with increased atmospheric pressure. Your insurance may cover hyperbaric oxygen therapy. To learn more, call Hyperbaric Centers of Chicago in Deerfield at 847-945-HBOT or visit hbot.md 847-945-4268 or hbot.md. Hyperbaric Centers of Chicago, the hyperbaric therapy experts.
It is 5:57. Let's get an update on the snowy roads. In the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center, here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. Inbound Kennedy, traffic's jamming up due to a crash past Montrose. Rollover, 3 right lanes are blocked. You get about 45 minutes, so O'Hare to downtown. Outbound about 38. Edens, due to the snow, it's about 30 minutes either way. Between Lake Cook and Montrose, speeds are reduced the entire length of the Edens both ways. Same true on 190 at O'Hare. Eisenhower, about 50 minutes either way between 390 and downtown. Stevenson, about 55 minutes either way between 355 and Lakeshore Drive. Ryan is 40 minutes 95th to downtown. It's heavy and snowy. We've had a number of spin-outs between 18th and Roosevelt, elevated area. It's outbound about 30 minutes to get to 95th. Speeds are reduced at I-57 at Bishop Ford. So we're not seeing major jams there with traffic volume much lighter. A lot of people at home. Tollways have reduced speeds throughout the area. I-80 as well. Slow going on the Skyway and in northwest Indiana. And we have about 750 flight cancellations. Traffic service of Audible. Stay motivated, informed, and entertained. The power of audiobooks. Listen anytime, anywhere with the Audible app. Start a 30-day trial. Your first one is free. Go to audible.com. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues after a full update from Fox News and your official Chicagoland weather forecast with meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Winter storm warning in effect until noon. 4 to 8 inches of snow today. Storm total amount 8 to 12 inches, high 28. Mostly cloudy tonight with a couple of flurries, low 15. Snow in the morning tomorrow, an inch or two, high 23. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560. The Answer.
24 at O'Hare, snow showers. The news, a service of Lowe's. Pro customers at Lowe's save 5% every day when you use your Lowe's Business Credit account. 5% on all purchases in-store or online, subject to credit approval, U.S. only. 5:59. Here are the stories we're following on AM 560. The Answer. Snow is not expected to stop until noontime, burying parts of the northern third of the state in between 8 and 12 inches of snow. Numerous schools closed. Over 700 flights canceled at Chicago's 2 main airports. 2 are hurt after a Metra train hits a van on Chicago's northwest side. Illinois Governor Bruce Rauner's budget chief says there is a fix to the state's $9 billion deficit. Stars beat the Blackhawks 4-2 in Chicago. Fighting Illini fell to Wisconsin in Big Ten hoops. WIND Chicago News Time is 6 o'clock.
This is a Fox News alert. After Congress pulled an all-nighter, a crisis averted. I'm Dave Anthony.
On this vote, the yeas are 240, the nays are 186.
That vote at 5:30 a.m. averted another drawn-out government shutdown.
Funding the government and taking care of our brave men and women in uniform.
House Speaker Paul Ryan, that funding ran out at midnight. This bill provides 6 more weeks of it, and there's a 2-year agreement to increase military spending and spending on domestic programs, which upset 67 Republicans who voted no. 73 Democrats voted yes, but many more did not, like Congresswoman Nita Lowey.
I cannot vote in good conscience to provide immigration and customs enforcement the very funding that could be used to deport the dreamers.
The DACA and immigration issue will be debated next in the Senate. Now, the Senate didn't pass its bill till around 2 a.m. Republican Rand Paul delayed the vote for hours, upset over a rising deficit.
Make no mistake, the result of this bill today is a bipartisan looting of the Treasury.
No word when President Trump will sign it. On Wall Street, stock futures were up. Now they're down, coming off yet another huge sell-off. The second 1,000-point Dow drop this week. It's now down 10% at its high January 26th. The Olympics are underway in South Korea in the first hour of the opening ceremony.
Thousands of athletes parading into the Olympic Stadium here on a cold night in the South Korean mountains. Team USA are wearing special battery-powered heated jackets to fight the chill. Watching the ceremony from the VIP seats, a group including Vice President Mike Pence, South Korean President Moon Jae-in, and the younger sister of North Korea's leader, Kim Yo-jong. It's the first time a member of North Korea's ruling family has visited South Korea since the Korean War, and Kim and South Korea's President Moon shook hands. At the Olympics in Pyeongchang, South Korea, Simon Owen, Fox News.
This is Fox News. Fair and balanced.
Our nation is deeply divided. Gone are the days when civil discourse bridged the gap between the two sides. If we'll ever find common ground, we must get beyond the talking points. AM 560, The Answer, is bringing together two of America's sharpest political minds from opposite sides of the aisle to do just that. It's Beyond the Talking Points with Dan Proft and Donna Brazil on Thursday, March 22nd. Proft and Brazil will go head-to-head, tackling the big issues facing our nation. Tickets are on sale now at 560theanswer.com/beyond.
All money managers may seem pretty much the same. But while some money managers may recommend high commission investment products, Fisher Investments avoids them. Some money managers may have hidden and layered fees. Fisher Investments never does. And while some money managers are happy to earn commissions from you, whether you do well or not, Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when you do better. In other words, we're structured to be on your side. Maybe that's why most of our clients come to us from other money managers. Talk with us and find out why so many experienced investors are switching to and staying with Fisher Investments. Fisher Investments, clearly better money management. Investments in securities involve the risk of loss. Visit us at FisherInvestments.com to find out what we can do for you.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Lou Bridges Show. Get foreclosure defense solutions that may save your home. Saturday mornings at 8 on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
But first, let's check the death count from the killer storm bearing down on us like a shotgun full of snow.
Well, Kent, as of now, the death count is 0, but it is ready to shoot right up.
Oh, my God. Damn you, snow!
Let it snow and snow.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. You know what's funny about Ken Brockman, the Simpsons character?
Yeah.
Is he is not at all hyperbolic in terms of the parody of network affiliate newscasts.
Right.
It's not.
No,
That's not hyperbole. That is the hysteria-inducing demagoguery you get from the silly tube.
There, I mean, we could see if you're north of I-80, we're looking at probably 6 to 8 inches. South of I-80, you're looking at a foot of snow. I just checked the weather modules with Mike Scott.
You've got your super
I've got my radar gator
souped up Doppler.
Well, I've got a Doppler on my head.
Supercharged, yeah, like Al Franken. We used to wear that satellite dish.
Exactly.
Yeah, you've got the Doppler.
But it is, I mean, it's causing travel headaches. Yes, 750 plus flights canceled at O'Hare, flights canceled at Midway. No school for CPS.
All right.
So what are you going to do with Peyton and Eli today? Because I signed you up for a little
we're going to have a
Danny daycare.
We're going to have a nice day. We're going to go to the Pottery Barn
Yeah.
and pick out some things for home. I'm going to take it from there.
What about arts and crafts?
Go over to Rainforest Cafe, have
Oh.
big punch bowl salad.
Yeah. When are they get Rainforest Cafe?
What?
When is that going to go bye-bye?
When it stops being great.
It's a little humid in there, don't you think? I don't know.
Okay, so moving on to...
No, I want to talk about the Rock and Roll McDonald's. They're tearing it down, and I don't know why. Have you figured out what's going on there?
I haven't investigated.
But you drive by it every day. You see that it's being raised.
I've noticed.
Okay. Because you tried to go through the drive-through, and there's no more
No,
drive-through.
No, I don't really go to McDonald's.
Oh, okay. Well, don't act like you don't eat McDonald's, though.
I just
President Trump.
I don't.
Well, you do when we have it here.
Well, I mean, like here for
Yeah.
to when in Rome, everybody else is eating McDonald's, so I'll get a sausage biscuit, but I'm not seeking out McDonald's for my sustenance, generally speaking.
Well, if you eat the French fries, there's a chemical in that French fry that will help your hair grow.
Mm-hmm. Thanks for that.
Well, I was just.
You got any other kind of iconic sites in the city you want to go over? Weather,
Excalibur. What's
weather
it called?
points.
Excalibur. What's going on with that place? Is that still a bar? What's going on there?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know? Remember the Excalibur?
I do remember it. Yeah. It's a
People with dancing cages and
nightclub.
Things.
It's became another nightclub. Now it's, I think, becoming like a residential property or something.
Oh, okay.
Anything else about the city that you've...
The Sky Deck? Do you think it'll be open today?
Okay. Yeah. And Peyton and Eli we're going to go out on the Sea Dog. It's a good day for it.
Today's the day that you guys are going to do that.
Yeah.
That'll be
We'll have
awesome.
dinner at Bubba Gump's. All
Maybe
right.
go on the Ferris wheel.
Okay, it's a fascinating tour of the city.
Yeah.
Things that you don't know and we don't know. But here's some other news yesterday. This controversy swirling around the White House, and frankly, specifically Chief of Staff General Flynn, about Rob Porter, who was the White House staff secretary. He has since resigned amid allegations from 2 ex-wives that he was physically abusive. He is currently, or he was, I don't know where it stands, dating Hope Hicks, the White House comm director, longtime staffer for kind of, Trump world, both for Ivanka and now for the president.
And she releases all the statements that come out of the White House.
And yesterday, one of his ex-wives, Jenny Willoughby.
We call her the Deuce. She's wife number 2, please.
Okay. She sat down with Gloria Vanderbilt's kid to talk about the relationship. I thought she was actually very insightful about, I'm not saying Rob Porter's this person, but about a person that Rob Porter may be, about this prototype, this archetype of a person. Here's Jenny Willoughby talking about the different Rob Porters.
Let me take you back. You were married, the marriage started, I think, November 2009.
That's correct.
The verbal abuse started on your honeymoon.
Even sooner than that, actually. We had a delayed honeymoon, so within the first probably 2 weeks, I was already getting belittled and nitpicked and sort of systematically torn apart for small things and seeing glimpses of his anger.
You said he would curse at you.
The actual cursing and insults didn't start until the honeymoon.
That's not it. But
that was insightful.
What she did say was about the different Rob Portmans, the idea that you can be professionally competent and one person in a professional setting and be something completely different in your personal life. And that's, did I say Rob Portman? Rob Porter. I keep doing that because you're confused with Senator from Ohio, and I don't want to do that. Rob Porter. And you can be somebody completely different in your personal life, and that was the case with her ex-husband. And then she was also asked the question that you're going to get asked.
What?
But she asked it herself because I don't think Anderson Cooper wanted to ask it. Why'd you stay?
It was just a few months after your honeymoon in June, I think, of 2010, that you actually filed for a temporary protective order.
Yes.
Can you talk about the incident that motivated that?
Yes. Rob and I had been seeing a marriage counselor and together had drafted a separation agreement primarily because of his anger and the verbal and emotional abuse. So at that time, he was meant to be living in our home that we had recently purchased. He came to the apartment where I was staying and refused to leave.
Well, that's not it. So the snow is apparently affecting the interweb. But here's what she said about that, since I have to do interpretation of Jenny Willoughby here, doing a dramatization of Jenny Willoughby. She said how could you stay with this monster? That's the question people want to know. And she said, well, he wasn't a monster. He was kind and charming and chivalrous and smart and successful. And he was disturbed and angry and mean, right? It's a complicated picture.
And he excuse me, behind closed doors with his wife, that's when the anger came out. Because she wrote this, I mean, I loved it. She wrote this beautiful article in Daily Mail talking about why I stayed. Well, at one point in time, she was pregnant. She did lose a baby, but she stayed. And she was told all the time, oh, your husband's so wonderful. You're so lucky to have him. And, that's why she gave it another shot. That's why she stayed. Brooke Baldwin from CNN read her piece on Daily Mail. Well, come on. Brooke Baldwin started crying. Listen to this. She's reading a statement from Jennifer Willoughby.
My cycle continued for 4 more years. Afterward, I let go and welcomed the hard work of healing and forgiveness. My experience made me stronger and able to love more deeply, but my heart breaks for him in the end. Who is the real victim? of his choices.
And then she wiped tears from her eyes.
And so Raj Shah, this guy's getting more airtime. He's pretty sharp. I like this guy. He's the deputy press secretary.
All he does is stay in the halls of Congress. They don't let him out. Don't you know that? And they let him in the tunnel.
There's a lot of work to do. He gave chapter and verse on the Rob Porter matter. Kind of the who knew what when and how the White House's evolving responses over the last 48 hours. And Shaw had this to say.
I think it's fair to say that we all could have done better over the last few hours or last few days in dealing with this situation. But this was a Rob Porter that I and many others have dealt with, that Sarah dealt with, that other officials, including the chief of staff, had dealt with, and the emerging reports were not reflective of the individual who we had come to know.
And so,
But my point of contention, he kept saying that bruise that wasn't from him. The picture that Jennifer released with her left eye bruise.
Well, he denied he said all the allegations were false, essentially.
And every publication everything that I've read from her and that I've seen with her being interviewed on TV, she doesn't talk about him hitting her in the face. She talks about him punching the glass door while she was inside the house. You hear about that. You hear about him taking her out of the shower. You never hear about him hitting her. So this picture that was released, so when Rob Porter says that, I didn't do that, I'm starting to believe him. And you know who else is believing him? Senator Orrin Hatch, who he worked with prior to working with President Trump.
I think that's a personal decision for him. I think probably it would be better for the administration had he resigned.
What was your conversation like with the administration?
Well, I'm somebody who believes in helping people. And it was a conversation to let him know that if he needs help in the future, I'll try to be there.
Thank you, Senator.
He's a good guy. No question. I don't understand. I really don't understand what happened there.
Do you believe these allegations against him? Do you believe the women?
I don't believe them all, but I think there's enough there that you have to take it very seriously.
Yeah, and resign from your post.
Yeah, I mean, I found Willoughby to be pretty credible.
Me too, but to explain the punch. I mean, explain
the
black eye.
I don't know. I don't know, and this is why I think there was an initial, and look, it's the kind of whole thing. You can't believe somebody is something. You can't believe this is happening, and it happens. And sometimes people are those people. And so it was one thing to say there were these allegations from one of his ex-wives in the context of a divorce. This was part of an ongoing FBI background check. It was a pending matter. It had not been completed.
Because they're trying to get him clearance.
And so that's one thing I've heard in the context of a divorce, allegations back and forth. But then the next one, and the pictures, obviously, but even without the pictures, the women speaking with some specificity about their marriage to Porter, providing details, providing insight. I mean, could this all be a carefully orchestrated hit job on Rob Porter where they can speak the lingo of the abused woman? Anything under the sun is possible, but it doesn't sound to me like it's likely.
And we're just learning right now that Rob Porter reportedly told the FBI that his ex-wife got the black eye after she was somehow hit with a vase.
Somehow hit with a vase.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I'm
that would prompt additional questions if I were an FBI special agent interviewing Rob.
Yeah, Porter's first wife alleges that he punched her, leaving a black eye in 2005. That's the first wife. And then the second one, he said they were arguing over a vase and that she was somehow hit with the vase.
Yeah, those are the kinds of allegations and the number, just the volume of allegations that you just have to have somebody deal with and resolve definitively before they can be in a sensitive position, like White House, the Secretary of White House staff.
Right. I mean, his office is right next to President Trump.
So this was, an easy call in terms of the need for him to go.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Forecast. Everybody's watching the weather. If you're north of I-80, expect anywhere from 6 to 8, possibly 10 inches of snow. If you're south of I-80, you're going to get a foot of the white stuff. A high of 28 degrees. So far, we've had about 4.5 inches of snowfall at O'Hare Airport, and that number keeps going up. Tomorrow, cloudy, a little snow, 1 to 2 inches on Saturday. And on Sunday, anywhere from a dusting up to an inch of snow. And then finally, no snow next week, Monday or Tuesday. Let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Amy. Dan, visibilities are reduced on the roads and in the skies. Got about 750 flight cancellations this morning. Also delays on Metra's BNSF line. A couple of trains not making their way outbound past Lyon. The heavy snow accumulation. Eden's traffic volume's light. Speeds are reduced. About 30 minutes either way between Lake Cook and Montrose. Slow and snowy on the spur as well. On the Kennedy, thinking about 45 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 40. Eisenhower, 50 minutes. 390 to the Circle, outbound 55. Stevenson, about 55 minutes either way between 355 and the Drive. The Rye, 40 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, very heavy. Holston to the Rhine, where it's really snow-packed. About 35 minutes, I-80 to the Merge. Bishopport about 30. Again, traffic volume is lighter with a lot of people staying home, but speeds are reduced throughout the entire region. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Get your tickets for Beyond the Talking Points on Thursday, March 22nd. That's when I will go one-on-one with Donna Brazile, former chair of the DNC, campaign manager for Al Gore. She, the CNN contributor who slipped the questions to Hillary for the debate, you'll remember.
I don't know if you know this, but she reached out to me. She wants me to slip her some questions.
Please do.
And I'm going to be parking cars, so tip well, please, people.
That's right. That's Amy's side hustle. We're going to sit down for an extended conversation about the big issues facing the country. Everything from immigration to healthcare, from tax reform to government spending. And, of course, we'll talk about the Trump administration and its accomplishments thus far. And in case you were unsure, Donna and I don't agree on almost any of the issues, so it's sure to be a lively debate. It's me and Donna Brazile, March 22nd in Rolling Meadows. Tickets are selling briskly, so get yours today. Just go to 560theanswer.com/beyond. That's 560theanswer.com/beyond.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I'm Mark Gastineau. I played in the NFL for 10 years. I was diagnosed with CTE, with dementia, Alzheimer's, and Parkinson's. The fruits and vegetables that we take from Balance of Nature is the best thing that we could ever do. And I'm calling in now to order extra because of my wife has been taking mine because she sees a difference in me. It is a wonderful thing that Balance of Nature is doing. I hear the testimonies on the radio, but I'm a testimony for myself. And the fruits and vegetables, if I don't take them every single day, my day is not going to go the same. So God bless you, and thank you for what you've done for my wife and I.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
What interest rate would you rather pay on your credit card debt? 17% or less than 6% APR? The answer is obvious, Lightstream. Because with Lightstream, you may be able to consolidate credit card debt and dramatically cut your interest rate to as low as 5.49% APR with AutoPay. Plus, radio listeners get an additional rate discount. Just go to lightstream.com/news. With average interest rates on credit card debt at 17% APR, Lightstream could save you thousands in interest. And because Lightstream is a division of SunTrust Bank, one of the nation's largest and strongest financial institutions, you can have complete peace of mind. The application takes just minutes, and there are no fees and no pressure. Just lower rates, one low fixed monthly payment, and huge savings. So if you have good to excellent credit, apply today and get a special interest rate discount when you go to lightstream.com/news. That's lightstream.com/news. Lightstream.com/news.
Subject to credit approval. Rates include 0.5% autopay discount available only when you select autopay prior to loan funding. Terms and conditions apply and offers are subject to change without notice. Visit lightstream.com for important information about limits on Lightstream loans.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, a couple of interesting stories on the moral front.
Yeah.
Bermuda, the British island territory of Bermuda, became the first country in the world to repeal marriage redefinition. Governor John Rankin of Bermuda, so he sought to balance the opposition to same-sex marriage on the island. while complying with European court rulings and ensure legal protections for the same-sex couples, they repealed marriage redefinition. So, it's interesting because it's very much like Roe v. Wade is settled law. It doesn't feel like settled law. Obergefell is settled law. It doesn't feel like settled law. We'll see. Bermuda repealing marriage redefinition. Isn't that interesting? South Dakota. Maybe this is where I should move. Right. South Dakota lawmakers will consider banning public school teaching on gender identity in elementary and middle schools. Be the first in the nation to block instruction on gender identity or gender expression. By the way, have you heard?
What does that mean? What do you mean?
You know what it means. It means the radical left agenda, political agenda on gender, that your gender is whatever you feel, your sex, I should say, is whatever you feel at any given moment.
They did a survey in Minnesota, and I don't know why this caught my eye, with 81,000 teenagers, and 2,200 identified as transgenders.
Right.
I mean,
because it's in vogue.
Right. That's the thing. We're pushing this on people. And there's a kid at Blaine who wears makeup, and my kid's like, he's gay. And I said, no, I've got gay friends. My gay friends don't wear makeup. They don't.
Yeah. So
we're like pushing this agenda that, feel free and be what you want to be. They're kids. They don't know what they want.
By the way, there's a new letter that's been added to the LGBTQMNOP.
QRX, what?
K.
K for what?
Kink. So I just want to keep you up to speed since I know you're
LGBTQ
ground zero on this.
K.
Not going to abide the imposition from the cultural Marxist left, and that's what this is. And so, Jeannie Ives compared to a Nazi by transgender, but they're not thugs. Jeannie Ives, since she's been in the news on this issue, Jeannie Ives was the subject of felonious threats to her physical safety because the person who made those threats doesn't agree with her on marriage redefinition. But they're not the bullies, not to read the op-ed pages of the Sun-Times, the Tribune, and all the culture. They're not the bullies. The people that say, you shall, this is how it's going to be, and you're going to accept it, you're going to accept it on my terms, and you're going to celebrate it, or else. And you're going to teach it to your kids, or else. So they're not thugs. They're not thugs. People that say, I don't want grown men in my daughter's bathroom or locker room, they're the thugs. The people that say a child has a natural right to their mother and father, they're the thugs. Okay. All right.
Well, so this person, did they go to her house? How did they threaten her? I know with phone calls and letters.
Yeah, phone messages.
And then eventually ended up on her front door?
No, that was the trans attorney that was representing the person who was convicted of felonious threatening of a public official.
Showed up at her door.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But they're not the thugs. Okay? People who disagree are the thugs. That's the world you want to live in. Okay. Walgreens changing their bathroom policy access because one dude was basically denied access to the women's bathroom. This is on Sunset Boulevard, now L.A. of no places. Denied entry into the women's bathroom because a manager thought she was a man. And, of course, that immediately enlisted Southern California's ACLU chapter to make a video. The video is pushed to YouTube, blah, blah, blah. Walgreens officials indicated in a statement that customers will now be able to use whatever facility corresponds to their gender identity, regardless of their birth sex. They won't have to prove their gender identity in any sense. And that's the way it's going to be. Because what you do in the face of thuggery is you capitulate, and that makes it stop, right? Uh-huh. Okay. Jim in Tampa.
Dan, I was so happy to hear you say you considered a move to South Dakota. We want you here in Florida instead. And Dan,
warmer.
You're the Ted Williams of radio talk show hosts.
The Splendid Splinter or a different Ted Williams?
What, I have to freeze your head?
The Splendid Splinter.
Yes.
He never won a World Series.
I'm a disembodied
you're
head.
Win. You're never going to win in Illinois. Come to Florida, Dan.
That's a pretty good pitch. Thanks for the
I would
call,
like to-
Jim.
you know, Florida
I'm taking
sounds-
it under advisement.
Florida sounds really good on a day like today.
Florida
We
sounds.
have a foot of snow and it's cold out.
These days in Illinois, Florida sounds really good every day.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
As a parent, you want what's best for your children. That means sending them to a school where they'll get the superior education they deserve, and that also shares your values. That can be tricky these days, as public schools have changed and private schools can be expensive. Your household budget has already been cut to the bone, and it's hard to imagine where you'll find that extra money. Well, there's help to lessen that financial burden and provide your child with the very best education at half the cost. At AM560 The Answer, we work with private schools throughout the Chicagoland area to provide tuition for families at half the normal cost. Just log on to halfpriceschools.com and you'll find some of Chicagoland's finest private schools, from preschool all the way through high school, at half the cost. And chances are there's a school right in your neighborhood. Invest in your child's education and future at halfpriceschools.com. A limited number of half-price vouchers are available. Go to halfpriceschools.com now.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Now that I've got your attention, my name is Jeannie Ives, and I'm the conservative running against Bruce Rauner for governor. I'm an economic liberty, pro-family West Point grad. I've spent the last 5 years battling Chicago Democrats. I didn't think I'd have to spend so much time battling Bruce Rauner. But when Rauner betrayed conservative families, that's exactly what I did. Rauner made Illinois a sanctuary state. I voted against it. Rauner made you pay for abortions in all 9 months of pregnancy. I voted against it, and so did every other Republican legislator. Rauner took money from your schools to bail out the Chicago public schools. I voted against it. National Review has called Rauner the worst Republican governor in the country because he is. Rauner betrayed us. I honor who we are as conservatives. Rauner can't win re-election. He said he's not in charge. With your help, I'll lead the charge.
Paid for by Ives for Illinois.
AM560, The Answer.
Hey, we want to give a big shout out to our friends in Utrecht, Holland, who are watching this morning on the web. Say hi to Molly and to Ann Flynn.
Hi, Molly.
I think that's cool. They're watching from Europe. They're my neighbor-in-laws who
Oh.
decided to move, get as far away from me as possible. And she has the flu this morning, so we wish her a speedy recovery. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Byron York writes in the Washington Examiner, top FBI officials wanted to believe Steele. They needed to believe Steele, so they believed Steele. Is he right? We're going to ask his colleague Selena Zito at 6:36.
And later, the grossest story you'll ever hear in your life. A woman rips out her own eyeballs. Why did she do it? But first, let's go into the newsroom. Don't open your eyes like that. Here's Mike Scott.
I've got a positive story about the University of Iowa for you. Stay right there.
I'm not moving.
24 degrees, light snow showers. President Trump expected to sign a budget bill Congress passed a few hours ago. The president's signature this morning will reset the government spending authority and end the shutdown that really only started at midnight and ended a few hours later. And Paul Ryan rustled up the votes on the floor just before the overnight vote.
We will solve this DACA problem. Once we get this budget agreement done, and we will get this done for no matter how long it takes for us to stay here, we will focus on bringing that debate to this floor and finding a solution.
The bill creates general increases for defense and spending and some domestic programs, including disaster aid. The Winter Olympics is underway right now. Athletes from more than 90 countries marching into the stadium at Pyeongchang, South Korea. The White House being pressed about the departure of Staff Secretary Rob Porter.
The allegations made against Rob Porter, as we understand them, involve incidents long before he joined the White House. Therefore, they are best evaluated through the background check process.
Porter facing domestic abuse allegations from 2 former wives. The snow not expected to stop for several hours. It will bury parts of the northern third of Illinois with between 6 and 12 inches of snow. Snowfall right now coming down at about an inch per hour. Numerous schools are closed. 700 flights or more canceled at O'Hare and Midway. 2 are hurt following a Metra train crash. It hit a van on Chicago's northwest side. Racially insensitive comments by J.B. Pritzker appear to cut into his lead in the Democratic primary race for governor. New polling says Dan Biss and Pritzker are almost in a dead heat right now in that Democratic race. Poll from Victory Research says Pritzker has 27% of the vote, Biss 23% with a 3% margin of error. Researchers at the University of Iowa say it may be possible to track flu outbreaks much earlier than we think. In a new report, the authors track data from a smartphone app. It's called Kinza, that allows users to take their own temperatures and record their symptoms and keep track of other health-related information. When that data is sent to the app's manufacturer, Iowa researchers say it will accurately track the spread of the flu weeks ahead of the U.S. Centers for Disease Control. Stars over the Blackhawks 4-2 here in Chicago. Trent Frazier's 32, not enough. Fighting Illini lost to Wisconsin 78-69. UIC dominated the Penguins of Youngstown State last night, 100-75. Omaha beat Western Illinois in the Valley. Illinois State beat SIU 76-68. Bulls make a minor trade overnight, adding another young piece to the front court, acquiring Noah Vonleh, former University of Indiana guard from the Portland Trailblazers, for the rights to Milovan Rakovic. The news service of Lowe's. Pro customers save 5% every day when you use your Lowe's business credit account. 5% on all purchases in-store or online, subject to credit approval, U.S. only. 6:33, and we'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager believes kids should take a year before going to college.
I have advocated to parents that they not send their child to college right after high school. The ideal is to work for a year, especially as a waiter or waitress. I think that it has a built-in conservatism because reality is conservative.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Make sure to check out the Income Store live video stream of today's show right now at 560theanswer.com.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, great coffee, period.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I was surprised at myself how much energy I had, and I'm doing 2 jobs, running around like a maniac, and I was able to handle it. Really, I'm like, wow, this stuff is really good. So, more than anything else, it just gave me the extra energy and the well-being, feeling of well-being that I don't think I would have without it.
Well, I take it every day, and I feel great. And my wife looks at me and says, how come you never get sick? And I do. It's because I take the fruits and veggies.
I just feel a lot better. My life is turning around. Everything is working for me.
It just helps me feel good. I just think the products are wonderful, and I take them every day. I just like it. It works.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
It is 6:35. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. As you've mentioned, visibilities are reduced this morning, though we're able to see on a number of our traffic cameras. We have a big problem on the northbound tri-state near 147th Sibley. The roadway is blocked entirely right now. A semi spun out there. They're trying to get this turned around so it's not blocking the whole roadway, but traffic's at a standstill from I-80 up to 147th Sibley. In that area between 57 and Sibley, things are entirely blocked northbound. It's open southbound. We're up to about 750 flight cancellations. Make that 780 now between Chicago's 2 airports. Eden's about 30 minutes either way between Lake Hook and Montrose, just due to the snow accumulating on the roadway. The volume on the Eden's pretty light. Kennedy, 50 minutes O'Hare to downtown, outbound 40. The Eisenhower, 390 to the Circle, 50 minutes, outbound 55. Stevenson, 55 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, about an hour. Ride, 40 minutes, 95 to downtown. A lot of spin-outs in the area near downtown Chicago. Traffic is slow and snowy on pretty much all the major roads, and some secondary roads are entirely snow-covered. Traffic service of Audible Stay motivated, informed, and entertained through the power of audiobooks. Listen anytime, anywhere with the Audible app. Start a 30-day trial, and your first one is free. Just go to audible.com. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. A cold day ahead, snow showers of 4 to 8 inches, depending on where you're at right now, and that could total up to 8 to 12 inches. Travel dangerous, I-28. Cloudy cold, a bit of snow overnight, another inch or so, and a low of 15. Currently 24. Your next news update is at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 on your mobile device. Now available on iHeartRadio. Online at iHeartRadio.com.
No Victocrats allowed. Why? Because we've got a country to save. Join me, Larry Elder, tonight starting at 7 on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Yes, we're broadcasting live. The signal is still strong here at Ice Station Zebra, day one of Snowpocalypse 2018. We will help you marshal through it.
Yes, we will. We are here for you, taking your stories all morning long.
And keeping you updated on what's going on in the thawed-out portions of the country.
How long was that government shutdown? It happened while we were sleeping, and it got resolved while we were sleeping.
Yeah.
Lawmakers are leaving Capitol Hill right now.
Similarly life-altering as previous government shutdowns. Stephen Cohen, who is the renowned Russian studies professor emeritus, NYU, Princeton, he was on with Tucker Carlson talking about the FBI, the documents that provided the claim to get the warrant to surveil Carter Page, to pursue this Russian collusion narrative with respect to the Trump administration. Here's Stephen Cohen on the two foundational documents for everything that we've been discussing, the competing memos on topic notwithstanding.
There are two documents that became the foundational sources for the Kremlingate narrative. It was first the Steele dossier, which surely informed the so-called intelligence community assessment in January of 2017. We were told that was the judgment of 17 intelligence agencies. It now turns out to have been the judgment of no intelligence agencies, just a few guys at the top. So that is all that's ever been produced, and it's not credible.
The two foundational documents for everything we've been discussing for the last 18 months, not credible, says Stephen Cohen. He also has a curious question for somebody as steeped in academia as he is.
And the larger question that comes to my mind, but you know the answer better than I do, is how many branches of government do we actually have? I was taught we had 3. But what's been going on above with the intelligence services, and not only the FBI, raises a question if there's a 4th branch of government that's influencing not only our politicians, but because they were leaking to the media, what we voters think when we go to vote.
And by the way, I mean, Stephen Cohen is hardly some kind of right-winger. He is a contributor to The Nation, for example. For more on these topics, we're pleased to be joined now by Selena Zito, Washington Examiner reporter, New York Post columnist, and CNN contributor. Selena, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Oh, thanks so much for having me.
What about Professor Cohen's question? How many branches of government do we have at present?
We still only have 3. But, you know, I mean, this whole mess has created... It's just really hard, as he said, to just go through this and understand what the heck is going on, right? In that we have these conflicting memos, and they sort of butt against each other, or at least we think they do. We haven't seen the second one yet. And it just adds to the sort of chaos that has become the relationships that are or I should say the FBI has and our intelligence agency has with not only the White House but and the Congress, but also with the American people.
Yeah, well, in addition to that, your colleague, I mean, just to kind of drill down onto this, there's a lot of, who is this Christopher Steele, this man of mystery and intrigue, this kind of Austin Powers figure? I would say more Austin Powers than George Smiley. But your colleague Byron York says the whole thing on Steele, despite the FBI going forward with Steele's information even after they knew he had lied to them per the Grassley memo, your colleague Byron York writes, top FBI officials wanted to believe Steele. They needed to believe Steele, so they believed Steele. And the needed to, of course, was to get the surveillance warrant that they want. What do you make of Byron's assessment?
Well, I mean, I think he's exactly right. And you wonder how often this happens, period, with the intelligence agencies. When you want to believe so much that something is real to move forward on a case, you let that emotion and that need cloud your better judgments. And I think that's what has placed us in the predicament that we are in today.
So the Democrats paid for this dossier, which was presented to the court as if it were true. Do you think that's going to stop in the future?
Wouldn't we love to believe it would?
Well, since they got caught.
Politics is such a high-stakes game, right? And you want to win. Unfortunately, we tend to want to win our side more than want to get at the truth. And that's a dangerous place for us to go, in particular among people who we trust to be sort of above politics, right? And above, getting something to persuade people to think your way as opposed to getting to the truth. And there's always been that sort of suspicion that we have that problem, but this is the first time it's sort of been laid bare. We've had different instances in the country where we've had lack of trust with the intelligence institutions, such as right after 9/11, where people believed that the intelligence agencies knew that there was a problem and something coming with the Taliban and Osama bin Laden, but yet nothing was done. And I can remember General Michael Hayden taking over the agency and saying, we need to get things right, and we also need to restore confidence between the American people and the agency, and also confidence within the agency, because they had become so rattled by poor decisions by only some members of the agency, not all.
Your kind of implication that politics is a game of win at all costs, I agree with that. And I think the costs keep getting ratcheted up, right? So we've moved beyond using the government against just political people, just your political opponents. We moved beyond that phase during the Obama administration when the IRS was weaponized to go after ordinary American citizens. And now we've gone the next step, which is the national, in my estimation, the national security apparatus used to protect the incumbent administration, one would argue, as Andy McCarthy has, and the president himself, and additionally make sure that the line of succession is uninterrupted. So it does seem like we're continuing to ratchet up, and kind of what's the next worst place we're going to go from here.
Right. We're in a very weird place. And I don't know that this hasn't happened before. It's just that we don't know if it has. And I don't know, Byron could speak to this better. This is something more he's covered than I have. But, with my interview with Jeff Sessions this week, he said one of the most important things that we need to do is regain the trust between the FBI and the American people. And I think at Justice, that is his driving force right now.
Yeah, he talked in your interview about essentially a reset at the FBI, right?
Yeah.
And does Jeff Sessions, what did you take away from your interview with him? Do you think he feels stable in his position, that he's not going to get fired or asked to resign as Attorney General?
Well, I didn't ask him that.
No,
but he was, he was a very steadfast in his support of the rule of law. And more than anything that I took away from the interview, I felt that was the defining component as to what he is and what he believes his job is. And I believe that for as long as he's there, that is what he's going to do.
Well, we know that in Chicago and Illinois, because we get letters from the Department of Justice about federal immigration law all the time. With respect to the rule of law, was it just kind of a statement of principle more, or was there a specific agenda where he has a rank order priority of where the law is not being abided, and he's going to do his damnedest to make sure it is?
Well, sure. I mean, he talked about DACA in the interview. He talked about the opioid crisis and how we take care of that. And he just talked about instilling that in the people that he's in charge of in Justice, which includes the FBI.
Did he make any mention of Department of Justice, questions swirling around Department of Justice, top officials like Bruce Orr and Rod Rosenstein, per all of this FISA-gate matter?
The interview happened after or before that, so we didn't get into that.
But, I mean, the conflicts of interest, Bruce Orr's wife being disclosed as having worked for Fusion GPS, that, of course, would certainly have been before.
Right. But he was in Pittsburgh to talk about the opioid crisis and the new task force that he rolled out. So that was the center of the conversation. But we did talk about DACA and sanctuary cities and the FBI, and you can check it out on SelenaZito.com. It's on my it's on the website I have. It has all my stories for the Examiner or the New York Post.
Okay. All right. She's Selena Zito, a Washington Examiner reporter, New York Post columnist, as you just mentioned. Also, you can see her often on CNN, contributing to the discussion there. Selena, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Good luck in the snow, you guys.
Thank you. You know what that's like in Pittsburgh. Thanks, Selena.
Oh, we're getting what we had, so good luck with that. It was pretty ugly.
Thank you.
Thanks, Selena. And she joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's what Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up next, someone really wanted a toy. But first, here's your forecast. As you know, in case you've been living under a rock, it is snowing outside, and it is going to continue to snow until around 6 p.m. this evening. So get used to it. Shovel early, shovel often, because it's not going to stop for a while. We have 5 inches right now at O'Hare. When it's all said and done, we can have anywhere from 10 to 12 inches of snow. A high today of 28 degrees. And tonight, guess what? We're going to have another inch of snow, a low of 15. Saturday, another inch of snow in the morning, otherwise 23 degrees. And then on Sunday, a little AM snow up to an inch. Otherwise, we're going to have mostly cloudy skies by the afternoon on Sunday, a high of 24 degrees. Let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. I know a lot of people are not phoning it in, but staying home from work, working at home today. Schools are canceled. So how are the roadways, Jim Telemonte?
They're snowy, Amy, as you'd expect. Traffic volume generally is lighter across the board. That being said, it's still taking a long time to get from here to there. Northbound Tri-State, very heavy. I-80 to near 147th and Sibley. There was an earlier semi-spin out, which had the roadway blocked. All lanes have reopened, but it's still very slow going as traffic recovers there. It's slow and snowy on all the roadways. Need a lot of extra travel time. Also, public transit is suffering. Buses, of course, but also trains. Red Line trains are stopped at Howard on the 95th bound side due to a mechanical problem. Metra has delays, especially on the BNSF line. In fact, Metra has an alternate schedule of BNSF today, reducing the normal number of trains from 94 down to 84. And we've got about 790 flight cancellations at Chicago's airports. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
I'm Keith Peters in for Lou Dobbs. Retail sales are predicted to rise this year. Twitter reaches a milestone and mortgage rates creep higher. Those stories next.
You like freedom? I do. You like money? Well, I do too. If you like freedom and money, then you're going to love Freedom Checks. You see, over the next few months, an estimated $34.6 billion is up for grabs to anyone who stakes their claim. Yep, you heard that right. $34.6 billion. To get all the details, just go to www.myfreedomchecks.com. Thousands of people are already lined up to cash in. Take Doug, for example. He's a 46-year-old from Joplin, Missouri, who's set to get a check for $24,075. And if Doug can do this, I've got a hunch that you can too. But here's the thing. If you want the chance to grab your full fair share of this $34.6 billion payout, you must have your ducks in a row by March 1st. So don't wait. Get over to www.myfreedomchecks.com before the March 1st deadline. That's www.myfreedomchecks.com.
The country's largest retail trade group says retail sales will increase 3.8% to 4.4% this year. The National Retail Federation says sales will be helped by an improving economy as well as the tax overhaul. Twitter made money for the first time in its nearly 12-year history. However, the social media company is still struggling to get people to sign up. Twitter's user base trails Facebook and Instagram, and that means fewer advertising dollars. Long-term U.S. mortgage rates climbed for the fifth straight week amid investors' growing concern about inflation. Freddie Mac says the average rate on 30-year fixed-rate mortgages shot up 4.32% this week, the highest rate since December 2016. Please tune in to Lou Dobbs tonight at 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. I'm Keith Peters for the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Upstream-ideas.com, premium content that enhances what we do each morning on this show. Long-form interviews with opinion leaders and policymakers in our Against the Current series. 2-minute warnings from Pat Hughes, 60 seconds of sanity commentaries from yours truly. Podcast for Illinois Rising program covering state policy and politics. Our Follow the Logic Man on the Street segments and Heart of the Matter, our series featuring professional women speaking collegially about the important issues of the day. And don't forget our sister site, defendhomeowners.com, where you can get a free property tax report on your specific home, to see what the highest property taxes in the nation are doing to your home's value. Ain't good. Also, we've got updated 2017 sales numbers in your region that we're posting, so those are instructive as well. All the property tax and home value info at defendhomeowners.com and everything else at upstream-ideas.com.
Shoot Point Blank is Chicago's leading shooting range and firearms store. Featuring 20 climate-controlled shooting lanes, complete retail store, and firearm education classes for all experience levels. Whether you're a new or expert shooter, now you can experience the Shoot Point Blank difference and see for yourself why so many people are talking about Shoot Point Blank.
I can tell you, I was impressed as soon as I walked through the door. The employees were really helpful, very patient, and knowledgeable, too.
My wife and I had a wonderful experience. We felt very comfortable and informed.
Brett was very friendly and respectful, and he answered all my questions. Because I'm new to pistols, I'm grateful he was patient and helped me decide what to buy for my new firearm.
For a huge selection of new and used firearms, ammo, and state-of-the-art indoor shooting range, visit them in Hodgkins, Mokina, Naperville, or Merrillville. Or check out shootpointblank.com. Experience the difference. Shoot Point Blank.
Listen up. Remember the name of this product, Calitrin. And remember the website where you can order Calitrin, toploss.com. Why am I telling you about this? Because I've been using Calitrin for a few months now. And at first, I just wanted to lose some weight after the holidays. And it certainly has worked for that. But I've also seen some great side benefits. Specifically, the pain in my joints has been reduced. I can walk up 3 flights of stairs easily now. Couldn't do that before. Calitrin is so good for you. You're giving your body back what it needs. And here's Elizabeth from Calitrin with today's amazing offer.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. Today, if you use promo code Amy, you can save 10% off your order, and that's on the #1 choice for healthy weight loss. No drugs, no stimulants, 100% safe even if you're on medications. Go to toploss.com and use code Amy.
That's toploss.com, promo code Amy, or call 800-325-4366 and order Calitrin today.
Whether they take you to the rack or dial it up from 3.
Splits the defense, lays it up top. Thomas to the corner, right side. Pocket, a triple guy.
Whether they run a set play or streak ahead on the fast break, we've got all the action right here on the Husky Sports Network from Learfield.
This Tuesday night, the Huskies take on the Central Michigan Chippewas starting at 6:45. NIU basketball is on AM 560. The Answer.
Highland Park Ford Lincoln's in the house. Here's Alan Marty.
We're back on the radio and getting bigger than ever.
We're the #1 Lincoln dealer in town.
And Chicagoland's first ever Ford Lincoln Superstore, too.
Folks like our great deals, for sure.
Just yesterday, I got attacked by the paparazzi.
Really?
But I think the groupies are the worst.
Groupies?
All the Highland Park groupies we have.
Sure. Right, Al.
The Highland Park Ford Lincoln Superstore. Call 1-800-984-9000 or go to alanmarty.com.
Well, I have groupies.
A rich fantasy life is important.
This is Alan Marty. Deal with us.
I'm Chris Walls, and I'm a truck driver from Missouri. For 13 hours a night, I sit in my truck and I drive. Out of boredom, I'll stop and eat. If I'm not doing fast food, I guarantee there's a bag of chips open on my dashboard. That was all until Andro 400. I started out 4 months ago, and since taking Andro 400, I have dropped 45 pounds. I'm sleeping better. There's no cravings. I actually don't even think about food. My knee pain went away. I've had some lower back issues, and I've noticed that went away, and I can only contribute that to Andro 400. One thing that Andro 400 said on the radio ad is it attacks belly fat. Well, let me tell you, it did. The second month is where I saw a drastic change in the size of my stomach. I've lost 6 inches. This product really does work.
So guys, if you'd like to experience similar results, then get Andro 400, the safe, natural, and inexpensive way to boost your testosterone. Go to andro400.com or call 888-400-0435. 888-400-0435.
AM 560. The Answer.
Hey, congratulations to local boy Jimmy G, Jimmy Garoppolo. $137.5 million contract, 5 years, $27.5 million a year, $90 million guaranteed.
Cha-ching. Can we say District 214 needs a Jimmy Garoppolo wing?
Yeah.
Well, he went to Rolling Meadows High School. But,
right. And then
it's part of
EIU.
part of our mid-suburban league, and that's a very proud moment for all the athletes who performed.
That should be Jimmy Garoppolo Gym.
Oh, yeah, Jimmy
for Rolling
Garoppolo
Meadows.
Gym.
It should be Jimmy Garoppolo Stadium down in Macomb.
Guaranteed $90 million. Well, we'd like to thank his parents, and I know his aunt and uncle listen to this station every morning, and we'd like you to spend some of your nephew's money and come along with us on our trip.
He's making twice what Tom Brady's making.
I don't know if he's that. You know what?
Wild.
You know what? Good for him. He deserves it.
Godspeed, Jimmy G. Congratulations.
Local people do well. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
13 people die of Legionnaire's disease at the Illinois Veterans Home in Quincy, and Governor Rauner would do it all over again at 7:07.
But first, here's Mike Scott.
Storm leads to hundreds of flights canceled. We'll have the snow total numbers. WIND Chicago News Time 7.
This is a Fox News alert. The government runs out of funding, but Congress just passed more. I'm Dave Anthony, but that vote didn't come till 5:30 a.m.
On this vote, the yeas are 240, the nays are 186.
The House passed new funding hours after the Senate approved it, also well past the midnight deadline when a partial government shutdown was to begin. Fox's Rachel Sutherland, live in Washington.
Dave, the House passed a continuing resolution that keeps the government open for another 6 weeks. Lawmakers also agreeing to a 2-year deal increasing spending across the board. The deal made it out of the Senate after Republican Rand Paul blocked it for hours.
This is the most important debate we will have in the year over spending, and no amendments are allowed.
On the House side, Speaker Paul Ryan assured Democrats work will start next on finding a solution for illegal immigrants brought to the U.S. as children.
We will solve this DACA problem.
Congress still needs to pass the long-term deal by March 23rd. Dave.
Rachel, will stocks plunge yet again today? Futures are down. They were up earlier. The morning after the Dow dropped 1,000 points for the second time in 3 days. It's down more than 6% this week, the biggest sell-off in a decade. History at the Olympics. North and South Korea marching together at the opening ceremony. Fox's Simon Owen is live in Pyeongchang.
And Dave, as the ceremony began, South Korea's president shaking hands with the younger sister of North Korea's leader. Kim Yo-jong is the first member of North Korea's ruling family to visit the South since the Korean War. And during the traditional athletes' parade, North Korea and South Korea processed as one under a special unification flag. Also in the VIP seats, Vice President Mike Pence, although it's not clear if he had any contact with the North Korean delegation. Dave.
Simon, it is stormy in parts of the Midwest. Areas from Chicago to Detroit could get a foot of snow. Driving is difficult. More than 1,000 flights have been canceled. Fox News. Fair and balanced.
Light snow, 24 degrees, winds east at 8 miles an hour. 7:02 is our time on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning, I'm Mike Scott. That snow not expected to stop until about noontime. It will bury the northern third of Illinois between 8 and 12 inches of snow when it's all totaled up. Lots of schools closed around Chicagoland, northwest Indiana, all the way to the Quad Cities. And the winter storm crunching Chicago's two main airports, over 700 flights canceled. No one in custody after a 17-year-old boy was killed in a shooting on Chicago's west side. That teen was found shot to death last night in a home near Laramie and Ohio. Illinois Governor Bruce Rauner's budget chief says the governor will deal with the state's $9 billion deficit next week. Budget Director Hans Zygmunt telling lawmakers that the current budget is only about $600 million out of whack, but there are over $8 billion in unpaid bills. Zygmunt saying the budget address will deal with the backlog and the shortfall. Racially insensitive comments by J.B. Pritzker appear to have slashed his lead in the Democratic primary race for governor. New polling showing Dan Biss and J.B. Pritzker almost in a dead heat in the Democratic primary race. A DCFS child protection worker beaten into a coma during a home visit last fall has died. The Illinois Department of Children and Family Services saying Pamela Knight passed away. Police say Andrew Searcher savagely beat Knight during a home visit last fall. He's being held on assault charges that now will likely be upgraded. Knight worked out of the DCF office in Sterling. And are you ready? The 2018 Chicago Auto Show kicks off this weekend at McCormick Place. 1,000 vehicles on display. The nation's largest auto show runs through February 19. Check out the Bullet Mustang. It's really cool. Chicago sports. Stars beat the Blackhawks 4-2. Trent Frazier's 32 not enough. Illinois lost to Wisconsin in Big Ten hoops 78-69. The news, a service of Accountemps. When you could use help closing your books and you need additional help and staff, it's time to call Accountemps. They can provide you with bookkeepers and other accounting and finance pros on a temporary or project basis. And fast. Call today, Accountemps, a Robert Half company. 7:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity has been following the FISA memo for months.
We've been working hard to unpeel every single layer of the onion. But everything we have been telling you is right. Everything the media has been telling you for a year is wrong. We have in front of us here today the biggest abuse of power and corruption case that I can think of in American history.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
All money managers may seem pretty much the same. But while some money managers may recommend high commission investment products, Fisher Investments avoids them. Some money managers may have hidden and layered fees. Fisher Investments never does. And while some money managers are happy to earn commissions from you, whether you do well or not, Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when you do better. In other words, we're structured to be on your side. Maybe that's why most of our clients come to us from other money managers. talk with us and find out why so many experienced investors are switching to and staying with Fisher Investments. Fisher Investments, clearly better money management. Investments in securities involve the risk of loss. Visit us at FisherInvestments.com to find out what we can do for you.
It is 7:06. Let's get an update on those morning roads. We do that in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. And here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Traffic volume is lighter than usual. So many closings, cancellations, but it's slow going due to the conditions as the snow continues to fall and pile up. Edens, again, traffic volume is light, but it's slow with the snow. 30 minutes or so, either way, between Lake Cook and Montrose. Slow going on the spur as well. Kennedy, about 50 minutes, O'Hare to downtown outbound 40. The Eisenhower, about 55 minutes, 390 to Burn Circle out about an hour. Stevenson, about an hour either way between 355 and Lakeshore Drive. Got a crash southbound before I-80 with injuries reported. Ryan, 40 minutes, 95th to downtown, outbound 30. I-57, Bishop Ford, about 35 minutes, I-80 to the merge, outbound 30. Slow and snowy on Lakeshore Drive. Northbound Tri-State jam. The Bishop Ford, Lincoln Oasis. Got a new crash there. 4 right lanes are blocked. And then also past Dixie Highway, there's a right lane block, possibly involving a medical emergency. Speeds are reduced on the other tollways as well, though volume is light. Eastbound I-80, see traffic bottled up Harlem to before LaGrange Road. Actually, that's westbound. Crash before LaGrange Road. Slow in northwest Indiana, too. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Jim, thank you. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast with our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Winter storm warning in effect until noon. Cold day with periods of snow accumulating 4 to 8 inches. Storm total amount 8 to 12. Travel will be extremely difficult and dangerous. High today 28 and a low 15. I'm AccuWeather's Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
24 at O'Hare, snow showers. 24 along the lake. It is 24 with heavy snow at Midway. Your next news update is at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by The Lou Bridges Show, a show about the truth of the foreclosure crisis. Saturday mornings at 8 on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
But first, let's check the death count from the killer storm bearing down on us like a shotgun full of snow.
Well, Kent, as of now, the death count is 0, but it is ready to shoot right up.
Oh, my God. Damn you, snow!
Let it snow and snow.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Happy to talk to the 4 people on the roads are up because they've got the day off and the kids have the school day off and so on and so forth.
And we want to thank Debbie and Jeff Reisman for putting us up in a hotel right next to the station because I don't think I would have made it to work today. Well,
it would
I
have
would
been
have
a
made it if
slog.
I left at midnight.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was a safety issue, so I'm glad that they did the right thing. And Keith, Conrad, our executive producer, and Justin, they had to sleep together in the same room.
They didn't have to. That was a choice.
Why are you holding my hand? Where's your other hand? Between 2 pillows. Those aren't pillows.
That was
John Hughes' best work.
Yes, yeah. No, that was real audio from last night in their hotel room.
Yes.
We secretly recorded them.
It was ugly in there.
Yes.
And I want to thank you for doing a little bit of dog sitting for me.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I haven't tweeted out the picture. Hayek and Bunky met officially for the first time last night. And you were busy doing your side hustle, whatever it is you do. So I came to your hotel room, picked up Hayek. And Hayek and Bunky and I, we had a delightful time together.
Oh, by the way, my hotel suite.
Oh,
please.
Excuse me. But yeah, Hayek and Bunky really, I think there's a bond there. Bunky doesn't really like other dogs, and she's very territorial, but she didn't snarl or do anything when she met Hayek. They smelled each other's butts. We're like, okay, get that out of the way, then go play. And you have to help me decide which video to post because I have about 7 videos I took.
Yeah.
Of the doggy.
It's good. It's good that
good
a friendly bond was made between the 2 hounds. It's very nice.
Until your dog dropped a deuce somewhere inappropriately. You
hey.
need to get her trained, man.
It's a him.
It's a him. I said you need to get him trained.
That
look at the puppies.
That suggests that he isn't trained, and I don't agree with that.
I know it's an island dog, so she's used to the streets,
Yeah.
and just going wherever she wants. But we need to Americanize her.
We're a couple of street urchins, both Hayek and me.
Doing that right in front of me, I'm like, Hayek, I'm going to take you out. So it's all right.
You had your chance. He can't wait. Nature waits for no man or woman. All right, we got to turn our sights to state politics for a moment here. Yesterday, Governor Rauner was recently, Governor Rauner was before the Crain's Chicago Business Editorial Board. And he was asked...
Was Jeannie Ives invited?
They appeared before the editorial board separately.
Oh, because he won't go together.
Yeah.
You stay away from me.
He's afraid.
Woman.
He's afraid. He was asked the question, how could your administration have better handled the Legionnaires' outbreak in Quincy? Of course, right, this is the Legionnaires' outbreak we've talked about on the show. It became a national story. Since 2015, 13 residents of the Illinois Veterans Home in Quincy have died from Legionnaire's disease. Rauner's response to how could your administration have better handled the Legionnaire's outbreak in Quincy was, quote, "We handled it exceptionally well, and we would not do anything different." Yeah.
We handled it well and would not do anything different.
So,
does he realize 13 people died? You know that's a slap in the face to all of those family members too.
Well,
we wouldn't have we handled it well, and we wouldn't have changed anything.
Not only that, the governor in the spring of 2016 declared that we're really on top of the situation in Quincy. Okay. Over the next year, 3 more people got sick and a Korean War veteran died. But he wouldn't have done anything differently. People died, and you wouldn't have done anything differently. 11 families are suing the state for negligence.
Good.
But, quote, "We handled it exceptionally well, and we wouldn't do anything different." This was Mike Tobin's report on the subject, Fox News.
Legionella bacteria was detected at the Illinois Veterans Home in Quincy as early as July of 2015, according to the Centers for Disease Control. That's roughly when Korean War veteran Richard French moved in. He was sick. His wife Dolores moved into independent living there to be near him. Friday, August 28th, their son Steve French heard news of a Legionnaire's disease outbreak and called.
It was a pretty quick response. Kind of a casual response saying, nope, your parents are fine. If something happens, we will give you a call. At that time, she was already dead. We found out later that she had been dead for several days.
Does anybody care? I mean, honestly, she died and they didn't even let him know.
It's remarkable. I mean, it's really remarkable. There are few things that stun me anymore. This story, and the French's story in particular, is just jarring.
WBEZ Public Radio showed the state public health director was aware on August 21st the home was facing the, quote, beginning of an epidemic, but there was no public notification until August 27th. 11 families are now suing for negligence. In July of 2016, Illinois Governor Bruce Rauner said, "We're really on top of the situation." Last fall, 3 more residents tested positive for the bacteria. A Korean War veteran with a host of medical problems died.
It's so interesting because this is what it is. And I don't know, this is what a lot in the Republican Party in Illinois are fine with. Does Rauner have any regrets? No, because he's not in charge. He's not responsible for the bad stuff. But there's good stuff right around the corner if you give him another chance. Really on top of the situation. 3 more people get sick, another person dies. After you have 12 in the ground at that point.
Well, what if he was a responsible governor, he should shut that place down because even the Illinois Health Department, after their investigation, said they cannot eradicate Legionella from the water source. So then don't you shut down the source?
At least at the time. At the time, right. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's the responsible thing to do.
When we last covered the story, I read an email I got from a friend of mine whose mom was a nurse who cared for the veterans at the Illinois Veterans Home in Quincy, and who's since passed. His mom has, this nurse. But she talked about in this letter and that she was going to go public to the authorities before she got sick and passed away, that they knew. They knew and they didn't do anything. They knew this was a problem, as you heard in Tobin's report about the public health director, but no public notification, public director knowledge, but no public notification. They knew, and they just slow-walked it. They tried to figure it out with alerting any attention to anybody because they didn't want a controversy. And so they're willing to put other people's lives, veterans' lives, no less, on the line to kind of protect their image, to avoid a PR imbroglio. And that's what this governor has been. This is a press release photo op governor, thus his stunt of going down and staying at the Illinois Veterans Home in Quincy. It's the same kind of stunt politics, press release politics practiced by Tiny Dancer and practiced by political hacks of both parties in this state and in this city for generations. Is that what the people want? No. Frank Cannon had a piece in townhall.com, popular conservative opinion journal. Jeannie Ives, not Bruce Rauner, is the future of the Republican Party. Becoming a bit of a national race because of that commercial and then people understanding the real choice here, the compelling story that Ives has as a West Point grad, husband of West Point grad, 5 kids, 2 in the military, and a conservative. And a conservative, unlike most conservatives in public office at least, who will not back down. Will not back down, as you've seen this past week amid the controversy over her commercial. Frank Cannon writes in his piece, just like Trump during his campaign, Ives has refused to back down. Despite the cries of outrage from the powers that be, she understands intuitively, as Trump did, that apologizing and staying silent on certain issues doesn't neutralize them. On the contrary, backing down from issues like abortion and the gender wars allow the left to take control of the narrative, defining conservatives as extremists while paying no political price for their own radicalism. In order to win, the best and only option is to fight back. So it seems to me that's sort of kind of where we get to the fundamental choice in this race on the Republican side. Continue the surrender, continue the orderly surrender, or fight back. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro.
And then on the Democratic side, according to the Sun-Times, they took a poll right the day after those FBI wiretaps were released, I think, on Wednesday. And guess what? Biss and Pritzker are in a statistical dead heat.
Yeah.
And either beats Rauner. That's the poll shows.
Hammers Rauner.
Hammers Rauner.
Yeah. So that poll, on the Republican side, the poll shows 2 things from a Republican perspective. Mm-hmm. One, Rauner is a dead man walking politically, which I've been saying for months and months. He cannot win. 2, for Rauner, interestingly, and then we'll get back to Biss and Pritzker,
right.
Republicans are fleeing Rauner as they're learning about his actual record or being reminded about his actual record by Ives. His unfave among likely Republican primary voters, according to this public policy polling survey, 49 favorable, 43 unfavorable, 1-to-1 for an incumbent Republican governor that supposedly, to hear him tell it, been battling Madigan the last 3 years. Big trouble. In an unwinnable position as a general election candidate.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of Republican primary voters, particularly establishment, can't swallow that because they're too beholden to his checkbook. That's what the numbers say, my friends. On Pritzker and Biss?
On Pritzker and Biss, I mean, it's a dead heat.
Yeah.
I mean,
look.
I mean, because people, they have unfavorable for Pritzker and for Rauner. I don't know if it's the wealth aspect, but the fact that Rauner's really a Democrat or...
Let me tell you something. The worst thing that could happen for Republicans is for Biss to get out of that primary. All the obsession with JB, and there's another political miscalculation by the Republican Party. What else is new? All of that focus on JB because he's got all this money.
And the millions that he spent on campaign ads.
He's getting close to $50 million already in the primary.
I know. And what has that money got him?
Exactly. Do you understand? Do you always have to fall into the conventional wisdom trap of the purveyors of conventional wisdom who are conventionally wrong? Checkbooks, that's all that matters. $50 million, and little Dan Biss, kind of slowly, methodically traveling the Bernie Sanders path as in a statistical dead heat because J.B. Pritzker is a fundamentally flawed candidate. The only person J.B. Pritzker can beat is Bruce Rauner. Similarly fundamentally flawed, and for similar reasons. J.B. Pritzker is a checkbook, that's it. Bruce Rauner is a checkbook, that's it. It seems to me, what you're hearing from a lot of people, maybe more so on the Dem side than the Republican side at this juncture, is that we don't want a checkbook, we want a three-dimensional human being that's willing to lead. And on the left, Bernie Sanders and a proxy for Bernie Sanders like Dan Biss suits their bill. And the Republican Party, in the shambles that it's in, I'm not sure what suits our bill. We're going to find out over the next 6 weeks as people become more and more familiar with Ives and the choice before them. But let me tell you something. Did you see this? This Illinois Republican Party?
What?
And listen, I'm listening to the preening from Cook County Chairman Sean Morrison, who's also a member of the Cook County Board, about how he supports the Republican Party. And we all have to rally together to support the Republican nominees in the general election.
Yeah, I've been reading his tweets.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I, he's a Cook County chairman. He's a leader in the party, just like Governor Rauner's the leader of the party, right? The Rauner Republican Party. Hey, Tim Schneider, the Republican Party chairman, and all the rest. You have a Nazi for your Republican nominee for 3rd Congressional District against Dan Lipinski, or whoever wins that primary that Dan Lipinski's facing. That's a blue-collar Trumpian district. You're asleep at the switch. All you care about is your welfare check from Rauner. And by the way, this is Sean Morrison's congressional district. And what happens? You have a Nazi.
Yeah.
Arthur Jones is going to be the nominee for the Republican Party against whoever wins between Lipinski and his primary opponent, because nobody did their job to get a candidate other than Art Jones to run.
He was on CNN yesterday morning.
CNN.
It was embarrassing. I was going to blog it, but I was so embarrassed. I don't even want to give him any publicity.
Oh, I want to give him publicity because this is an indictment of the Republican Party establishment that it moralizes to conservatives all the time. Oh, and when they're made aware that he's going to be the nominee for Congress, we denounce and decry Arthur Jones. Why didn't you stop him?
Why didn't they put anybody up against him?
Why didn't you stop him? Because you're not paying attention. Because you're incompetent. Incompetent. Listen to this knucklehead on CNN, as you said, Amy, with Allison Camerata. Running under the Republican Party banner, not because of conservatives, not because of the Tea Party types, not because of the grassroots, but because the leadership of the Illinois Republican Party, starting with the governor to the Cook County chairman to the state party chairman, asleep at the switch.
It is shocking to hear how vocally and unapologetically racist you are. Are you a Nazi?
Well, for the past 15, 20 years, I have not had anything to do with any National Socialist organization on a formal basis.
But do you call yourself a Nazi?
I don't call myself a Nazi. I call myself an American patriot and statesman.
Okay, well, let me give our viewers some details about this, just so they can decide for themselves. You've been part of anti-Semitic groups since the 1970s. You go to neo-Nazi rallies. We have pictures of you there. You were part of the White People's Party. You dress in Nazi garb, and you celebrate Hitler's birthday. You're a Nazi.
Well, I do not belong to any formal National Socialist organization anymore, and I haven't belonged to one since about 1990.
Anymore.
Okay? The only organization that I belong to is my own organization, and that's the America First Committee.
Uh-huh.
Okay?
Yeah. You can call it whatever you want, Mr. Jones, but your website is filled with the most vile, rancid rhetoric I think I've ever
I disagree
read.
with you. It's not vile and rancid. It's the truth.
It is?
There's nothing on that website that's not true.
Mr.
I personally put that stuff on there.
Yeah.
I personally picked out the articles on there because they're true.
He's crazy.
Now,
That's
I can't help
really
it. You don't want to.
Troubling to say the least. Listen to this. More.
Oh, no. Please
And the
make it
fact
stop.
that you deny the Holocaust, you are entitled.
Yes, I
to
deny
your,
the Holocaust.
Listen,
it's an extortion racket.
You
Pure
are
and simple.
entitled to
and
your
if you did
own
any
crackpot
investigation, if you did
theories.
any honest investigation of the Holocaust, you'd realize that it is nothing but an international extortion racket by the Jews to bleed, blackmail, extort, and terrorize their enemies.
There you go. There's your Republican nominee for Congress in the 3rd Congressional. And let me tell you something. The additional disgusting part of this, the pathetic part of this in terms of thinking about the competency of this thing called the Illinois Republican Party, Arthur Jones is a known quantity. This racist idiot has been running for office for 30 years. Nobody paid any attention, even at the filing period. You got to file petitions. That's in December. All you had to do, or you know that people are circulating petitions, all you had to do, because you know this guy's history, is make sure somebody is watching who's circulating for what offices. And if you've got obviously an embarrassment, an unacceptable person as a potential nominee for a federal office, any office, but a federal office, then you make sure you get a candidate to beat him in a primary.
It's really embarrassing for the Republican Party. Well, the Illinois Republican Party, especially when he's on a national platform like CNN.
It really is.
Oh.
And that's where we're at.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Did you know that studies have shown that we need over 10 servings of fruits and veggies every single day? If you're like me, it's hard to find the time and money to prepare and eat all of those fruits and vegetables. Who can do that? Yet we know that proper nutrition can prevent health problems, give us energy, and help us heal faster. Balance of Nature has spent over 20 years researching and delivering solutions to this problem. We can ensure that you consume over 30 different fruits and veggies every single day. Our capsules are filled with 100% real whole foods. There isn't a single thing added to Balance of Nature products. They're pure. We spent an incredible amount of time on the quality of our products. We do this for you. We do it for our own families. Give yourself a break and give your body what it needs. Call now to receive 35% off your first Balance of Nature order. Call 1-800-2468-751 or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
Looking to refinance your existing mortgage and want the lowest rates and lowest closing costs? Then you need to call Team Hochberg. Other lenders boast about having low closing costs, which is like me saying I look good in a pair of 32-inch pants. Truth is, other lenders' closing costs are substantially higher than Team Hochberg's closing costs, and I haven't fit into a pair of 32-inch pants in over 40 years. Compare Team Hochberg's closing costs against any other lenders, and if our closing costs aren't lower, I'll donate to Veterans Roasters, an organization who hires homeless veterans to roast coffee, and an organization Team Hochberg already financially supports. When securing a mortgage, you can either work with a lender whose definition of low closing costs are over $1,000 higher than ours, or you could call Team Hochberg now at 312-751-1333. Team Hochberg has helped thousands of AM 560 listeners, but we can't help if you don't call 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage, an equal housing lender, Illinois residential mortgage licensee 4358 and MLS 19186.
AM 560's Passport to Paradise contest is open to any legal U.S. resident, age 18 or older. To enter, download the AM 560 mobile app and fill out the entry form between January 22nd and February 9th, 2018. One grand prize winner will be randomly chosen on February 12th and will receive a 7-night trip for two to Riviera Maya, Mexico, including round-trip airfare and a junior suite at the Secrets Maroma Beach Riviera, Cancun. Approximate retail value $3,334. Visit 560theanswer.com for complete rules.
If you're missing teeth or even a single tooth, dental implants are a fantastic way to regain your confidence, your smile, your dental health. Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. You hear a lot of people screaming at you about dental implants. Get it done in a day, or we can treat everybody, or hundreds of thousands of implants. Look, successful implants don't come from an implant factory. What you don't hear talked about is skill, treatment, and installation. These are what make for successful lifelong implants. And that's why you need to see Dr. Norouzi at Fox River Periodontics. Dr. Norouzi is the recommended choice of dentists that don't do implants. You need the experience, skill, and honesty that 24 years of dental implants brings.
This is Dr. Norouzi. I personally guarantee your happiness with your implants.
Call Fox River Periodontics, 630-232-7400, 630-232-7400, or just remember, implantsforme.com, implantsforme.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Tarantino apologizes for that 2013 interview with Howard Stern, and more Me Too casualties, including potentially the former head of the Cato Institute.
And a Democratic female politician's getting a little handsy on the buttocks. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
24 degrees, still heavy snow showers, and a winter storm warning up until 7 for the far western suburbs and around noontime for the city and near western suburbs. President Trump expected to sign a bipartisan budget bill this morning. GOP House Speaker Paul Ryan urged passage of the measure early this morning in the House.
This agreement accomplishes getting the resources that we need to rebuild our military. But also, this includes long-delayed disaster funding to aid recovery from the hurricanes and the wildfires.
Senate and House passed that massive bill that funds the government essentially for 2 years while increasing spending for defense and domestic programs. Investors bracing for the market open this morning after the Dow finished about 1,033 points lower yesterday. All three major indexes suffering sharp losses during a trading session fraught with wild swings. Thousands are welcoming athletes from more than 90 countries as the opening ceremonies of the Winter Olympics in Pyeongchang, South Korea continue. The White House continues to be pressed about the departure of Staff Secretary Rob Porter. Porter faces domestic abuse allegations from his two former wives. His second wife is Jeannie Willoughby.
A lot of attacks on my character and my intelligence, and things that I felt to be true about myself were systematically and repeatedly attacked.
In a briefing yesterday, White House spokesman Raj Shah called the accusations troubling, serious, and disturbing. So, snow is not expected to stop for a few more hours, and that has resulted in most schools in the area being closed because of the winter storm and flights to be canceled at O'Hare and Midway. In other news we're following this morning, no one is in custody after a 17-year-old boy was killed in a shooting on Chicago's west side. A Northwestern University journalism professor accused of misconduct will take a leave of absence from the university. Alec Klein requested that leave until the university completes its investigation. Chicago sports last night, Stars over the Blackhawks 4-2. Trent Frazier's 32 not enough. It's the Fighting Illini lost to Wisconsin at the State Farm Center 78-69. In the Missouri Valley, Illinois State handled Southern Illinois, and the Bulls make a minor trade at the trade deadline, acquiring guard Noah Vonleh from the Blazers for the rights to Milovan Rakovic. The news service of Shell. Get the feeling of being rewarded with gold status at Shell with the Fuel Rewards program. Start saving on your very first fill. Continue to save on every fill every day. Download the Fuel Rewards app. Join in and save 5 cents a gallon today. 7:34, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager explains the left's view on immigration.
Leftism is not interested in borders. Leftism, since Karl Marx, it has never deviated from this belief. National states are an anachronism. The nation state is irrelevant.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
A bad cold and flu season is upon us. The main difference between them is the flu brings a fever. Be prepared with the Exergen Temporal Scanner Thermometer, backed by more than 70 clinical studies.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Amanda Zanger, owner of Black Industrial and Safety Supply in Hammond, Indiana, and a business customer of Signature Bank. Prior to owning my own business, I worked for a major financial institution. So when it came time to finance the acquisition of Black, I approached a big bank, only to receive a solid no. That's when Signature Bank stepped in. With Signature Bank, the process was different. Signature provided creative financing options that enabled me to purchase Black and continue to grow the business. Thanks to Signature Bank, Black Industrial is able to continue serving Fortune 500 industry fabricators and contractors with tools and safety supplies as we have since 1893.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
7:36. Let's get an update on the roads now in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. In West Chicago, police have shut down northbound 59 at Main Street. Vehicles can't get up the hill there. It's too slick and snow covered. Westbound 8094 traffic is jammed towards Avenue and Lansing, up the northbound tri-state to the Lincoln Oasis, where a crash has 3 right lanes blocked. Metra has delays and some cancellations, especially on the BNSF line this morning. The Edens runs about 30 minutes late Cook to Montrose, outbound 35. This is due to snow on the roadway. Traffic volumes lighter than usual. Same through the Kennedy. 50 minutes O'Hare to downtown, 35 from Montrose, 18 on the Express. Outbound 40 to O'Hare. Slow and snowy on 190. Eisenhower, about an hour either way between 390 and downtown. Stevenson, an hour, 355 to the drive, outbound an hour and 5 minutes. Ryan, 40 minutes, 95th to the loop, outbound 30. Slow and snowy on all the area tollways and in northwest Indiana. Traffic is a service of Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Rocket Mortgage is simple so you can understand the details and be sure you're getting the right mortgage. Apply simply, understand fully, mortgage confidently. Visit rocketmortgage.com today. Licensed in all 50 states, equal housing lender, and MLS number 3030. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast? Depends where you're at. Snow showers are coming down. The snow totals will widely vary. North and west, a little less. Far south, a little less. If you're in that corridor between I-80 and 290, you're probably going to see anywhere from 8 to 12 inches of snow. By the time the day wraps up, winter storm warning goes out of effect. Will actually expire around noon today with a high of 28. More snow overnight, about an inch, and then more snow tomorrow, 1 to 3 inches throughout the morning, and a high of 23. Currently 25. Next news coming up at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by The Lou Bridges Show, a show about the greatest financial crime in history. Saturday mornings at 8 on AM 560, The Answer.
If you're talking about it, I'll be talking about it. Dennis Prager here. Join me this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy, and hope you're getting through day one of Snowpocalypse.
You're so lucky you live in a high-rise, because I have to go home and shovel.
Well, you got 2 young men to do that for you.
Yeah, you know what?
Remember
you know
them?
What? Oh, those, you mean those cats? Those silly cats?
Yeah.
Those little ankle biters?
They're of age.
Yeah, they should get out there and shovel.
One of them's like 6'8", 280, right?
Well, he's size 15 shoes, so he doesn't have boots that fit him. He's killing me.
He doesn't need boots that fit him. He's just
what, like Saskatchewan?
Mammoth, yeah.
Well, you know what we have him wear his gym shoes and tie plastic bags around his feet with a rubber band. I used to do that when I was a kid because we
tennis
didn't
rackets
have
on his
money
feet.
For boots.
Yeah,
poor
right.
people do.
Yeah, right.
You want to know what else?
The wrong
poor
side of the
do?
tracks in Mount Prospect.
Yeah. When the toothpaste tube is at the end, you can cut the bottom and you could get toothpaste out of there for a week. Do you know that? Instead, people just throw it away. Very wasteful.
Thanks for that tip there, Martha Stewart.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
I got a tip for you. You know how...
don't eat yellow snow.
That's a good one. That's good. Layers when it's cold out.
Speaking of yellow snow.
Cover the extremities.
Our dogs are together making yellow snow. I did post on Facebook with the help of Keith Conrad, video of our dogs playing in the snow. And they're running. We don't know how it ends, but they're running toward the forest.
And as far as we know,
they're still
that'll be the last time we ever see them. They've run away. They've eloped.
They're gone. Like, see you people. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
We had a good run. Thanks.
They make a cute couple, at least the Hayek side.
No, Bunky. And then Bunky was holding Hayek's leash and walking Hayek around. It was so funny. I think it's cute.
Led around on a leash by okay. It's a perfect segue to this new research coming to us from 5 economists about earnings, wages at Uber.
Oh, really?
Fascinating study. You know how the shibboleth of the left, women make, what's it now, 73 cents, 77 cents, 82 cents of every dollar that a man makes, that lie that they tell. What's the number now they use?
I thought it was 81 cents.
Yeah, it's so hard to keep track.
It's getting better.
Oh, yeah, it's getting better. It doesn't exist. That's why it's getting better. It's fiction. And here we have research on 2 million Uber drivers.
Mm-hmm.
Finding a gender earnings gap of 7%, even in the complete absence of gender discrimination. 1.9 million Uber drivers, 27% female, who provided more than 740 million Uber trips between January 2015 and March 2017, 2 years almost, in 196 U.S. cities. Here's an interview with one of the researchers for the Freakonomics podcast. You write in the paper that unlike previous studies, you were able to completely explain the pay gap. So unpack that. Rebecca Diamond, who is one of the economists. Sure. Uber pays drivers based on a relatively simple, transparent formula that takes into account how long your ride is in miles, how long the ride takes, and potentially a surge multiplier where sometimes there's excessively high demand.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So the fare itself is determined by an algorithm which is gender blind. The dispatch is gender blind, and pay structure is tied directly to output and not negotiated. That transparency and simplicity of pay, again, this is Rebecca Diamond, is what makes this environment so interesting for studying a gender pay gap. Because we were all able to work with such excellent detailed data, we believe this is a first-of-its-kind study insofar as it can fully explain the gender gap. So here's Stephen Dubner, one of the Freakonomics guys, trying to summarize this. Let me just make sure I'm clear. You're saying there's no gender discrimination on the Uber side, on the supply side, because the algorithm is gender blind and the price is the price. And you're saying there's no gender discrimination on the passenger side. So does that mean that discrimination accounts for 0% of whatever pay gap you find or don't find between male and female Uber drivers? And the researcher said, that's correct. That's correct. So it's a great natural experiment to test for earnings by gender in an environment completely free of any possible gender discrimination on either the supplier or the driver side. It's gender blind pricing by Uber and the demand customer side, since the researchers found empirically that riders have no gender preferences for the drivers. So what did the researchers conclude about the gender earnings difference from these 1.9 million Uber drivers and 750 million ride sharing? The growth of the gig economy generates worker flexibility that will favor women. We explore one facet of the gig economy by examining labor supply choices and earnings among more than 1 million rideshare drivers on Uber in the U.S. Perhaps most surprisingly, we find that there's roughly a 7% gender earnings gap among drivers, and the gender gap is caused by experience on the platform, learning by doing, preferences over where and when to work, and preferences for driving speed. So what women's relatively high opportunity costs of non-paid work time and gender-based preference differences can perpetuate a gender earnings gap even in the absence of discrimination, is the point. It has nothing to do with gender, has to do with these other 3 factors I just mentioned: experience on the platform,
Right.
preferences when to work, preferences for driving speed, since it's measured in, length of
Right.
trip and miles traveled. Well, time of trip
Right.
and miles traveled. It's pretty. This is a pretty important study that all of those who want to perpetuate this myth of systemic gender discrimination are going to have to respond to. Because the point is, the argument is, patriarchal society that systemically treats women in the workforce different than men. Well, certainly in the gig economy, you can take all of it out. And perhaps in the non-gig economy, where pay is not algorithmically determined, it's significantly overstated. And the other factors like continuity in the workforce and so forth are the ones that should be focused on, rather than continuing to propagate this mythology about, the glass ceiling. Huh? What do you think?
I think you're onto something.
Are you going to share that with the Lakeview Peahats?
Yeah.
You going to share that at the next Secret Society meeting?
Well, I always tell them, because they say, how can you not, stand up for equal pay? And I said, but we're doing different jobs than men are doing. Do you understand? And we're working at different times, and that Uber story is a perfect example.
And also, too, I mean...
Because a lot of female Uber drivers that have kids, when it's dinner time, when it's the peak hours, they're at home taking care of their kids.
And they're not indentured servants. Right. There is this notion that, I know this is will come as a shock to some of these man-hating, shrew feminists, but there are a lot of women who actually like to raise their kids, like to spend time with their kids.
They like being homemakers. Yeah.
I don't know how to break it to people. The other thing, too...
And women, let your men be men. Don't take away all of their responsibilities.
Yeah.
Give them something to do with their hands, to craft or to work or to shovel, to make them feel more like men.
The other thing about...
if anyone wants to come over and shovel and feel like a man, feel free.
There you go, starting with your Peyton and Eli. The other thing about... So Mark Perry over at Carpe Diem, he does this every year, too. The deaths on the job equality. Deaths on the job equality. That, the deaths on the job, men account for north of 90% of deaths on the job because they do the more dangerous jobs, logging and fishermen and so on and so forth, right?
Right.
That's, again, by choice. And fun. But, I mean, the idea that we should have perfect equality in work experience across sex without taking into account the different nature of man and woman is absurd. And it's just as absurd to suggest that, hey, we have to wait until women catch up in on-the-job accidental fatalities before we talk about worker safety. It's got to be equal. We have to have an equal number of men and women die on the job. That's stupid, right?
Well, there's not an equal number of women to men working the steel mills in Gary or in the coal mines.
Right, which is why that's a stupid argument. But it's no less stupid than the equal pay meme masquerading as an argument in search of an actual problem. And this Uber study is going to be real complicating factor for those on the left to continue to perpetuate that myth, if at least they're forced to answer that study.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Snow totals continue to rise in Rockford, 6 inches, and Belvedere, 9 inches. And at O'Hare, 5.5 inches. Snow should move out of here sometime after noon. And then we're going to see some more over the weekend. Storm totals 10 to 12 inches. More snow if you're south of I-80, that's for sure. And then tomorrow, 1 inch of snow. And then on Sunday, we wake up to a light snowfall, dusting to an inch. Both days will be in the low 20s. Let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Busy day on the roadways. Thank goodness schools were canceled, right, Jim? It would be an absolute mess if they weren't.
Oh, it'd be complete gridlock, Amy, no question. As it is, where there have been crashes, we've had some backups. That being said, travel times are elevated somewhat, but that's mainly just due to the snow on the roadway. And speaking of that snow at O'Hare, we got 573 cancellations at O'Hare this morning, 246 at Midway. Your travel times, Kennedy, 45 minutes O'Hare to down south, so it's much lighter than usual in terms of traffic volume, but everyone's going slower due to the conditions. It is quicker in the express lane. Outbound, 38 minutes downtown of the airport. Eden's 30 minutes, like Cook Junction, outbound 35. The Ike, about an hour either way between 390 and downtown. Stevenson, about an hour either way. 3:55 in the drive. Ryan's 40 minutes, 95th to downtown, outbound 30. Northbound Tri-State at the Lincoln Oasis. Earlier crash is cleared. It's still very heavy, though, from around westbound 8094 Torrance up to that Lincoln Oasis. Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Get your tickets for Beyond the Talking Points on Thursday, March 22nd. That's when I, Dan Proft, will go one-on-one with Donna Brazile, former chair of the DNC and campaign manager for Al Gore. We're going to sit down for an extended conversation about the big issues facing the country, everything from immigration to health care, from tax reform to government spending. And, of course, we'll talk about the Trump administration and its accomplishments thus far. And in case you were unsure, Donna and I don't agree on almost any of these things, so it's sure to be a lively debate. It's me and Donna Brazile, March 22nd in Rolling Meadows. Tickets are selling briskly, so get yours today. Just go to 560theanswer.com/beyond. That's 560theanswer.com/beyond.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
Starting Balance of Nature, I felt that the first month I felt different. It made such a difference that now I wake up, my head feels clearer, I have more energy. Very rarely does my body cramp up anymore. It's the best thing. It's just amazing. I don't know what to say. I just would not be what I am today if I didn't start Balance of Nature.
I plan on taking this the rest of my life because until I started taking your stuff, I never took as many fruits and vegetables in a day as I get through you guys. You know, I'm very, very, very satisfied.
My pain and it went away. I swear to you that that's the truth.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Listen up. Remember the name of this product, Calitrin, and remember the website where you can order Calitrin, toploss.com. Why am I telling you about this? Because I've been using Calitrin for a few months now, and at first I just wanted to lose some weight after the holidays, and it certainly has worked for that. But I've also seen some great side benefits. Specifically, the pain in my joints has been reduced. I can walk up 3 flights of stairs easily now. Couldn't do that before. Calitrin is so good for you. You're giving your body back what it needs. And here's Elizabeth from Calitrin with today's amazing offer.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. Today, if you use promo code Amy, you can save 10% off your order, and that's on the #1 choice for healthy weight loss. No drugs, no stimulants, 100% safe even if you're on medications. Go to toploss.com and use code Amy.
That's toploss.com, promo code Amy, or call 800-325-4366 and order Calitrin today.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity for Upstream-Ideas.com. The left is so accomplished in sensationalizing and rewriting history because they so doggedly sensationalize and rewrite the present. The Nunez memo is one of the better case studies in recent memory. We have sanctimonious gasbag Jim Comey complaining about weasels and liars, translation, House Republicans, for fulfilling their oversight responsibilities of the FBI, reminding us that there aren't a lot of schools or streets named after Joe McCarthy. That's something Comey will have in common with McCarthy. We have John Heilman, one of MSNBC's Russian collusion bots, suggesting that Paul Ryan is a Russian agent. Because Paul Ryan agrees that the Nunez memo should be released, you see, that puts Ryan on Team Nunez, which puts him on Team Trump, which puts him on Team Russia, which puts John Heilman in a 1959 Richard Condon novel because he's living in a fictional world. We have a DC press corps from a bygone era presently being feted on the silver screen for unearthing government secrets, while their descendants decry the notion of being handed a tidy summary of the same. We have Beltway big government guerrillas who will say and do, or not say and not do, whatever is required to achieve their singular end, the end of Trump.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Now that I've got your attention, my name is Jeannie Ives, and I'm the conservative running against Bruce Rauner for governor. I'm an economic liberty, pro-family West Point grad. I've spent the last 5 years battling Chicago Democrats. I didn't think I'd have to spend so much time battling Bruce Rauner. But when Rauner betrayed conservative families, that's exactly what I did. Rauner made Illinois a sanctuary state. I voted against it. Rauner made you pay for abortions in all 9 months of pregnancy. I voted against it, and so did every other Republican legislator. Rauner took money from your schools to bail out the Chicago public schools. I voted against it. National Review has called Rauner the worst Republican governor in the country because he is. Rauner betrayed us. I honor who we are as conservatives. Rauner can't win re-election. He said he's not in charge. With your help, I'll lead the charge.
Paid for by Ives for Illinois.
If you still haven't purchased the very best pillow, of course I'm talking about MyPillow, the 4-pack deal is back. So I strongly urge you to go online or call now to make sure you take advantage of this great deal. A great night's sleep is so important, so give yourself the gift of a great night's sleep by ordering a MyPillow. By using the promo code Amy, you'll get the absolute best deal available anywhere. The MyPillow 4-pack deal includes 2 premium MyPillows and 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows at 50% off. I love that I can move the fill to get the support I need, regardless if I sleep on my back or side. I never wake up with a stiff neck or headache. And MyPillow is made in America, washable and dryable, hypoallergenic, and has a 10-year warranty plus a 60-day money-back guarantee. So get your 50% off the 4-pack in February by calling 800-489-0201. Use the promo code Amy or visit MyPillow.com. That's 800-489-0201, promo code Amy.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGdirect.com.
If you're young and healthy, you don't need life insurance, right? Yeah, that's what I used to think, too, until my brother died at 38. Joe left his wife with 2 kids, a mortgage, and a stack of bills she couldn't pay. Mary had to sell the house and move everybody into this tiny 2-bedroom apartment just to make ends meet. I never want to do that to my wife, so I got life insurance. I called AIG Direct and was really surprised how affordable it is. Just $14 a month for $250,000 of term life coverage. Listen, if you have a family, you should seriously think about getting life insurance. You'll feel a lot better having it, trust me.
Call AIG Direct for a free, no-obligation quote. The call takes less than 5 minutes, and you could save up to 70%. Call now, 1-800-600-5451. That's 1-800-600-5451. 1-800-600-5451.
Hi, I'm Andrea Kashava, owner of Tulane & Associates, an accounting and tax service in Elk Grove Village. If you're a small business, feeling snubbed or overcharged by your current accounting firm, I invite you to give us a try. You shouldn't have to feel overlooked by your current tax accountant because you're a small business. Small businesses and individuals are my specialty. I will always treat you and your business with respect, and we'll take care of as much or as little as you'd like us to do. From payroll to sales taxes, financial statements to business and personal taxes, projections, or bookkeeping services. Call Tulane & Associates at 847-952-1510 or visit TulaneandAssociates.com. That's THULIN, Tulane & Associates. Get a no-cost 1-hour initial consultation that could change the way you do business. Call 847-952-1510. That's 847-952-1510.
AM 560, The Answer.
Oh, yes, on snow days like today, don't you want to escape, go somewhere warm? Well,
yes.
Go with us to Riviera Maya. It's just 20 minutes from the Cancun airport. We'll be staying at the beautiful Secrets Maroma Beach Resort and Spa. 9 gourmet restaurants, 6 bars, 24-hour room service. The best thing is it's adults only. I've been to this property. You will love it. It has all the bells and whistles, just beautiful suites, ocean view, tropical view. And you can go snorkeling right there, right off the property. It's Maroma Beach is one of the world's best beaches. So you want to join us. To do so, go to 560theanswer.com/passport. That's 560theanswer.com/passport. This trip always sells out, and the price that Apple Vacations has secured for us is unique, and it is the thing you're going to want to buy. Do it this weekend. Do it 560theanswer.com/passport. Come with us to Secrets Maroma Beach, where Dan will be wearing his mankini. What color is it going to be?
I think the lime green sets off my eyes.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We're going to talk to Grover Norquist, President of Americans for Tax Reform, who's tracking every company that's offering raises, bonuses, better benefits because of the Trump tax cuts. That's at 8:08.
But first, let's go into the newsroom on this snowy day. Here is the one and only Mike Scott.
Winter storm leading to hundreds of flights canceled today. Check that schedule. An NU prof accused of misconduct will take a leave of absence. New poll says Biss and Pritzker are nearly tied. Stars beat the Blackhawks last night. Cold with heavy snow still in the area. WINT Chicago News Time is 8 o'clock.
This is a Fox News alert. President Trump has signed the bill to keep the government open.
I'm Dave Anthony, and he tweeted our military will be stronger than ever before. It also means jobs, jobs, jobs.
Without objection, a motion to reconsider is laid upon the table.
The House passed that at 5:30 a.m. after Congress pulled an all-nighter, thanks in part to Rand Paul.
The senator from Kentucky, by objecting to the unanimous consent request, will effectively shut down the federal government for no real reason.
Fellow Republican Senator John Cornyn, Paul blocked a vote for hours till after the midnight deadline, warning the bill
will lead to trillion-dollar annual deficits.
67 House Republicans also voted no, unhappy the bill that provides 6 more weeks of funding also increases spending on domestic programs for 2 years in addition to the extra military funding. A lot of people might be dreading the opening bell on Wall Street the day after another giant plunge. Fox's Ginny Casola watching the markets live.
Dave, futures are higher, though there's no clear indication of how stocks will do today. The Dow Jones Industrials dropped more than 1,000 points yesterday, closing down more than 10% from the high on January 26th. That's the second drop of 1,000 points this week. But Bankrate.com's chief financial analyst, Greg McBride, says if you put in $100 at the market high, you'd still have $90. Dave?
Ginny, the Olympic cauldron's been lit. The games have begun. Fox's Simon Owen live in Pyeongchang, South Korea.
Dave, the opening ceremony here featuring athletes from North Korea and South Korea marching together under one flag. And in the VIP seats, South Korea's president shook hands with the sister of North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. Kim Yo-jong is making a rare visit to the South. She, in turn, was seated just a few feet away from Vice President Mike Pence, although it's not clear if they had any contact. Dave?
And Simon, the Vice President, just met with some North Korean defectors. Fox News. Fair and balanced.
25 degrees, heavy snow showers at 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. The snow will fall for the next few hours. It will bury parts of the northern third of Illinois, between 7 and 10 inches of snow. Winter storm warning will expire in the far western suburbs around 7 to 8 a.m., noon for the inner counties of Cook, DuPage, and Will. Numerous schools are closed across the area, actually from the Quad Cities all the way to northwest Indiana, and over 700 flights have been canceled. Cleanup underway following a large fire on Chicago's southwest side. It broke out early this morning in a 2-story building on West 63rd. Flames did cause a roof to collapse. No word on injuries. No one in custody after a 17-year-old boy was killed in a shooting that happened on Chicago's west side. The teen was found shot to death last night in a home near Laramie and Ohio. Illinois Governor Bruce Rauner's budget chief says the governor will deal with the state's $9 billion deficit next week in his budget address. Apparently, Hans Zygman believes the governor's address will include dealing with the backlog of unpaid bills and the state's shortfall. City officials in Harvey are promising that trash collection will resume today after 4 days of no pickups because of a pay dispute with the city's waste hauler. Stars over the Blackhawks 4-2 in Chicago last night. Fighting Illini lost in Big Ten hoops to Wisconsin, 78-69. UIC a dominant win over Youngstown State, 100-75, and the Redbirds of Illinois State winners in the Valley over SIU. The news service of Staples. Staples has low prices on the organizational solutions that your business needs to clear the clutter and focus on the job at hand this year, like banker's boxes, file folders, and storage bins. Less mess equals more success. Visit Staples.com for more. Staples, it's pro time. 8:04, time for the AM 560 Business Beat. From the Fox Business Network, a service of Turnkey.pro, here's Ginny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, futures are mixed after yesterday's sell-off. The Dow Jones Industrials declined more than 1,000 points, pushing the market into correction territory. However, Craig Hodges, portfolio manager at the Hodges Fund, says he's looking to buy stocks now.
The whole market's been clamoring for an opportunity, a sell-off. And now that we're getting it, everyone's getting a little scared. And I think that we may see a little more of this. But, look for great companies that go on sale. And there are a lot of them out there, maybe a little bit under the radar. Things like International Paper, or a lot of the airlines have really been, some of these great companies have been knocked back 15, 20% just in the last week or so.
FedEx and UPS shares are losing ground before the market open after the Wall Street Journal reported that Amazon's getting ready to launch its own delivery service for businesses. The Dow dropped 1,032 points yesterday. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Jenny Cosola.
8:05, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Larry Elder points out the rise in the president's approval rating.
Trump's ratings are creeping up a little bit. Rasmussen has him at 49%. Macron in France in November was at 46%. Merkel, Germany in December, 38%. Trudeau, Canada, January of this year, 37%. My goodness. Those leaders must be racist. They must be xenophobes. They must be dictators.
The Larry Elder Show. Weeknights at 7, right before Jay Sekulow at 9 on AM 560. The Answer.
All money managers may seem pretty much the same. But while some money managers may recommend high commission investment products, Fisher Investments avoids them. Some money managers may have hidden and layered fees. Fisher Investments never does. And while some money managers are happy to earn commissions from you, whether you do well or not, Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when you do better. In other words, we're structured to be on your side. Maybe that's why most of our clients come to us from other money managers. Talk with us and find out why so many experienced investors are switching to and staying with Fisher Investments. Fisher Investments, clearly better money management. Investments in securities involve the risk of loss. Visit us at FisherInvestments.com to find out what we can do for you.
It is 8:06. Time to check the roads. We're just now seeing in from the National Weather Service the 6 inches and 7 inches of snow across a wider spread on the area. So we know the totals are going up, as are the travel times a bit in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
That's right, Mike. And we have closures. Etowah eastbound 60, Town Line closed, St. Mary's Road to Riverwoods Road. Northbound 59 is blocked in West Chicago up the hill between Maine and Washington. Vehicles can't get up that hill, too slick and snowy. Hayden's is about 30 minutes late Cook to Montrose as that snowfall continues. Outbound 35 minutes, crash Dewey in the right lane. Kennedy, looking at about 48 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 38. The Eisenhower, an hour, 390 to downtown, outbound the same. Stevenson, about an hour either way between 355 and Lakeshore Drive. The Bryant, 40 minutes, 95th at the Loop, outbound 30 due to that snow. I-57, about 30 minutes, I-80 to the Verge, Bishop Ford, 45 now. Delays in the northbound tri-state, especially from Torrance up to the Lincoln Oasis after an earlier crash that's clear, but it's slow and snowy in all the tollways. Things are deteriorating a bit in northwest Indiana, especially in LaPorte County where that snow is getting pretty heavy. Traffic answers when you need them most. Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast with meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Winter storm warning in effect until noon. 4 to 8 inches of snow today. Storm total amount 8 to 12 inches, high 28. Mostly cloudy tonight with a couple of flurries, low 15. Snow in the morning tomorrow, an inch or two, high 23. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560. The Answer.
Currently, we have 25 in snow showers. Next news at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy, and we're taking your stories all morning, your tales of survival. No, not from the snow. No, from the 6-hour government shutdown.
Oh, that's right. You know what? It was great because it happened while we were sleeping, so a lot of people didn't know that when they were waking up that a budget deal.
But you know what? What happened when I woke up?
What happened when you woke up?
Before the deal was signed, I felt like a part of me was missing.
It's a government shutdown.
And then I got word from the New York Times that all was right with the world, and I was made whole once again.
And President Trump has signed the budget deal.
And the reason it was held up, one senator, the junior senator from Kentucky, wanted an amendment because he suggested that Republicans shouldn't so cavalierly walk away from the sequestration spending caps that actually worked when they were abided. You know, an opportunity to actually reduce government and reduce government power, meaning reduce the presence of government in your lives. And now we're just going to throw those by the wayside, pile on another $300 billion and spend over the next 2 years. And Rand Paul doesn't like it.
When the Democrats are in power, Republicans appear to be the conservative party. But when Republicans are in power, it seems there is no conservative party. You see, opposition seems to bring people together, and they know what they're not for, but then they get in power and they decide, we're just going to spend that money too. We're going to send that money to our friends this time. The hypocrisy hangs in the air and chokes anyone with a sense of decency or intellectual honesty. The right cries out, our military is hollowed out. Even military spending has more than doubled since 2001. The left is no better. Democrats don't oppose the military money as long as they can get some for themselves, as long as they can get some for their pet causes. The dirty little secret is that by and large, both parties don't care about the debt.
Sprinkle the infield and everybody's happy. Rand Paul, by the way, right there, it was cut off because Lindsey Graham tackled him on the well of the Senate.
Right.
Broke the other ribs. Here's the thing. He's right about that. He's right about it, unfortunately. Sprinkle the infield, and it's fine. He exposed Rand Paul yesterday, other than some in the Freedom Caucus and others that are intellectually consistent, which is a very small percentage of the members of Congress. He exposed all the phony fiscal conservatives for the phonies they are. But that's just my opinion. For an opinion on both sides of this, the tax cut side as well as the spend cap side, we're pleased to be joined again by our friend Grover Norquist, president of Americans for Tax Reform. Grover, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Good to be with you.
What about Rand Paul's message to his fellow Republicans last night?
Well, he's quite right that the government's spending too much money. I do wish, he knows that it takes 60 votes to actually get a budget or anything done. So it's not really fair to say the Republicans are doing X, Y, and Z and they're in power. The Republicans have control of the House. Even conservatives have control of the House. The Republicans have the presidency. They do not have the Senate. If we were to get rid of the filibuster rule, then with 51 votes, you could say the Republicans have control there, although we've got 2 senators who are in and out of hospitals all the time, and 1 or 2 that have tough states. We really do need to get a few more senators in order to say you have Republican majority in the Senate. And I do think it's time to get rid of the filibuster because, as Rand points out, it's too confusing to the American people for them to say the Republicans have control of the House because they have a majority, the Senate, majority of the Senate, but they can't do whatever they want because there's a 60-vote requirement for laws and a lot of budget questions, and only you can do things with a 51 vote on budget reconciliation, which happens at most once a year. That's how we got the tax bill passed. It wasn't that the Republicans didn't decide, let's do something, and they hadn't wanted to do anything else. You couldn't do stuff without budget reconciliation. But if we got rid of the filibuster, then you could look the Republicans in the eye and say, you got 51 votes. If you all hang together, you can do it.
But that's a fair point. But, I mean, even in the current construct, aren't they deleveraging after the last government shutdown by kind of quickly agreeing to this? I mean, do a series of CRs or call the Dems bluff if they want to shut the government down over lifting spending caps. To walk away from those sequestration spending caps seems to me like a real capitulation on principle.
Well, I wish they didn't. The challenge you have is that you do have a number of Republicans who are just committed to dramatically increasing the Defense Department's budget. As much as I think national security and defense is a very important thing, I don't think conservatives should make the mistake liberals make and say, well, if you're spending more money on something called defense, you must get more defense.
Exactly.
We laugh at people who say that about welfare or, if you put more money into the Chicago schools, then everyone would be smarter. Yeah, right. Well, maybe not, spending more money on something doesn't always get you more of what you think you are buying, particularly when the government, which is a monopoly, monopolies tend to be self-centered, not consumer-centered, and they tend to be inefficient and slow-moving. And it's a heck of a way to run anything. So that's the challenge, that there were enough Republican votes that simply said we have to have this dramatic increase in spending on the Pentagon. And if you're going to do that, the Democrats said, dollar for dollar, you got to pay us off.
And
then, give us half too.
And then looming, over everyone's head is DACA, which is going to expire March 5th. Mitch McConnell last night said next week we'll start discussing that. Do you think they will reach an agreement by that March 5th deadline?
Well, March 5th deadline is a phony deadline. It focuses the mind. I suppose it's fine if you're trying to figure out how to force Republicans and Democrats to think this stuff through sooner rather than later. But the president created the deadline by saying this is when it runs out. He could move it. Now, he's quite correct that when Obama said, here's the law, I'm not enforcing it, that's not necessarily completely legal or constitutional, but everybody let it stand. And the president said, this is wrong, it needs to be fixed, and I'm only going to let it go on for another year. It's a deadline that could slip a month. The deadline could slip 6 months. I don't know what their plans are, but it's unlike some things like the debt ceiling, which can be a hard stop. That one is a more flexible deadline. If you wanted more time, you could get it.
You have been tracking how the entrepreneurial sector as well as corporate America is responding to the Trump's tax cuts, better known as the Trump Republican crumbs. And I wonder what you're at Americans for Tax Reform, what you all are finding about the benefits of the tax cuts from the mom and pop shop all the way up to Fortune 500 companies.
Oh, absolutely. And let me encourage all of your listeners, if you have a small business and you've done a bonus or a pay increase or a benefit increase because of the tax cut, at atr.org, which is our website, front and center, you can see the list of over 300 businesses, large and small, that have put in why they did it. The fact this is because of the Republican tax cut, and specifically what kind of bonuses or pay increases and other things that they did. We actually had an event last night with Paula Hinton, who's out of Peoria, Illinois.
Oh, great.
She came into D.C., and we celebrated her and a number of other entrepreneurs. She had $500 bonuses for 20 employees. She runs a series of spa and salon barbershops. And, her parents came from Italy. She showed up in kindergarten and did not speak English. And she's a very successful small businesswoman. But this list, take a look at it. It's really exciting stuff. It's more than 3 million people who have gotten bonuses, benefits, and had them announced by their companies. This is growing. The reason that it's not all going to happen in January, February, the companies tend to do this on their earnings reports, and those come throughout the year. So we're going to have millions more of these announced, of people getting these bonuses and benefits, which really puts a face and an immediacy to some of the benefits of this tax cut. Add to that you saw the 200,000 jobs, net new jobs in the last month. Job creation is continuing apace. And tougher to see is the trillions of dollars that was from American companies working overseas that our tax policies under Obama and previous governments penalized American companies if they brought the money back. We ended that. It's now easy for $1-2+ trillion to come back in. But in addition to that, there are people in Brazil or Germany or Japan who have their own money, and they're looking around to see where to invest. And we just made the United States significantly more attractive to anyone who wants to invest and create jobs and opportunity. Instead of doing it in another country, in the United States, we have faster depreciation schedules, which means it's less expensive to invest in making Americans more productive. And we lowered the penalty on when you earn $1. The government takes not 35, but 21. So better return, lower cost to invest. We're going to be seeing trillions of dollars more from around the world flowing. And there's a UN report kind of whining about this, that the U.S. is redirecting foreign direct investment into the United States from around the rest of the world because of our lower taxes. And the UN seemed to suggest this was not a good idea. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
And I love the list. I love the fact that the tax cuts play in Peoria. The only thing I don't love, Amy, is that Salem Media is not on that list
Right,
yet.
that's
We're
what
going
I
to
was
have to
gonna-
petition
Well, we should be
our
patient.
corporate overlords.
Yeah.
See if they want to make Grover Norquist list there at ATR.org.
But I will tell you guys this. I had a Comcast employee at my house the other day because my cable was broken, and he lives on the west side, and he said, I wish to God that they had never announced that we got bonuses because I have family members knocking on my door, and he has a second job at a 7-Eleven. He said people come in, they're like, so did you get your bonus yet? He said people are in my face. They want some of the money.
Yeah, sure. Just
So,
tell
but I
them-
know it's a good PR for the company, but
just-
you're putting your employees' safety at risk.
Yeah,
okay?
right. You just tell your family members I'll be over at your place somewhere between 6 a.m. and 5 p.m. So you just wait for me. Grover Norquist, president of Americans for Tax Reform. Again, we got a lot of business owners and entrepreneurs that listen to the show. You want your business to be recognized. You want to add to the success stories and to the good stories of good feeling that Grover Norquist is archiving. ATR.org to tell what you have done with your employees per the Trump Republican tax cuts. Grover, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good to be with you.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro and salon.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Coming up, remembering Pebbles. And why was the dwarf hamster flushed down the toilet? But first, here's your forecast. You know, I'm going to talk about this 4-letter word that starts with S, and it's snow. It is still falling. Will continue falling until afternoon. Around noontime, it should subside anywhere from 10 to 12 inches. If you're south of I-80, you are definitely going to see a foot or more of snow. And then tonight, we have dusting up to an inch of snow. Saturday and Sunday, we have snow chances both days, dusting up to an inch, and highs in the mid to lower 20s. Let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Delamonte.
Thanks, Amy and Dan. For those who are traveling, it's taking longer to get from here to there. Lots of flight cancellations and delays on Metro lines, especially the BNSF is offering an alternate schedule today. That means fewer trains. Eden's 30 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 35. Kennedy, looking at about 42 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 35. The Eisenhower, travel time currently 50 minutes, 390 to downtown, outbound 55 minutes. Stevenson, an hour, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound an hour and 5 minutes. The Ryan, 35 minutes, 95th to downtown, outbound 30. Tollways, all snowy and snow covered. Speeds are reduced, slow due to the conditions. There is a crash, actually a stall on the westbound Reagan tolling the ramp to southbound 355. Blocking a lane, and the volume is not too heavy. But conditions just causing reduced speeds and reduced visibilities. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Hey guys, Ken here from the hit podcast Today's Growth. Who would win a 3-mile bicycle race, an 11-year-old girl or last year's winner of the Tour de France? It all depends on the bicycle. It depends on their vehicle. Both on a 10-speed and the pro racer is going to win every time. But put the racer on a tricycle and the 11-year-old wins every time. You see, it's not the driver, it's the vehicle. When it comes to generating revenue, it's exactly the same. If you have a job or a small business, you are riding a tricycle. You can only go so fast. If you need to make up lost ground, it's not going to happen on a tricycle. No matter how fast you pedal, it's simply not going to win the race. Why do many people with no schooling and no advanced degree often become very wealthy? Simple. They choose to only ride 10 speeds. When it comes to helping people create their next revenue model, both Forbes and Inc. recommend Income Store as a can't miss when it comes to putting people on a 10-speed. Could your household or business use an additional revenue model that doesn't solely depend on you? If so, you need to check out IncomeStore.com. That's IncomeStore.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I'm Mark Gastineau. I played in the NFL for 10 years. I was diagnosed with CTE, with dementia, Alzheimer's, and Parkinson's. The fruits and vegetables that we take from Balance of Nature is the best thing that we could ever do. And I'm calling in now to order extra because my wife has been taking mine because she sees a difference in me. It is a wonderful thing that Balance of Nature is doing. I hear the testimonies on the radio, but I'm a testimony for myself. But fruits and vegetables, if I don't take them every single day, my day is not going to go the same. So God bless you, and thank you for what you've done for my wife and I.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Now that I've got your attention, my name is Jeannie Ives, and I'm the conservative running against Bruce Rauner for governor. I'm an economic liberty, pro-family West Point grad. I've spent the last 5 years battling Chicago Democrats. I didn't think I'd have to spend so much time battling Bruce Rauner. But when Rauner betrayed conservative families, that's exactly what I did. Rauner made Illinois a sanctuary state. I voted against it. Rauner made you pay for abortions in all 9 months of pregnancy. I voted against it, and so did every other Republican legislator. Rauner took money from your schools to bail out the Chicago public schools. I voted against it. National Review has called Rauner the worst Republican governor in the country because he is. Rauner betrayed us. I honor who we are as conservatives. Rauner can't win re-election. He said he's not in charge. With your help, I'll lead the charge.
Paid for by Ives for Illinois.
Spark ideas for spring home improvement at the Old House New House Home Show, February 9th through 11th at Pheasant Run Resort in St. Charles. Explore the latest in kitchens, baths, basements, additions, renovations, and landscaping. Discover displays from 300 award-winning contractors, talented designers, and creative craftsmen. You can also meet experts on roofing, waterproofing, window treatments, patios, pergolas, painting, tile, custom closets, windows, doors, flooring, and more at the Old House New House Home Show. Enjoy inspiring workshops on kitchen design, decorating trends, beautiful bathrooms, and landscaping design. Plus, meet Mr. Fix-It, Lou Manfredini, on Saturday morning. Adult admission is $7, seniors just $4, and parking is free. A portion of ticket proceeds benefits Habitat for Humanity of Northern Fox Valley. Update, renovate, and revitalize your home with the Old House New House Home Show, February 9th through 11th at Pheasant Run Resort, St. Charles. For tickets and more information, visit KennedyProductions.com.
AM 560, The
Is this the sad part of the Dan and Amy show when we talk about pebbles?
Remembering dwarf hamster Pebbles.
Oh, it's too soon.
He's haunting us from the grave. Belen Atacosia.
Oh, no, come on. I wanted to say her name because
you're
I'm
the
a name assassinator.
Okay, all right,
I was going to say, well, she's 21-year-old Beldenana.
What?
Belen Atacosia.
Yeah.
Atacosia.
Mm-hmm.
She's a college student. She was flying home from Baltimore to South Florida, and she was on Spirit Airlines, and she had called before and asked before she could bring her emotional pet hamster Pebbles.
I mean, honestly,
with her.
This is so.
What? The little pet. You know, that's her emotional support animal. And they said yes, but then when she got to the airport, they said no. So she's in a quagmire. I mean, what do I do? And
Well, she was given two options.
Yeah. Oh, what? The window or the door? The stairs?
Well, the toilet or freedom. According to the Miss Aldacosia. Aldacosia? I don't know. Now you got me doing it. Anyway, according to this college kid, the Spirit Airlines employee suggested she either flush Pebbles down the toilet or let Pebbles run free and start a new life.
Well, she said she was scared, and she said it was horrifying trying to put Pebbles in the toilet. She said she was emotional after she flushed her pet hamster. She sat there and cried for a good 10 minutes.
Bon voyage, Pebbles.
I mean, this girl, she's hired an attorney because this incident happened November 21st. And Spirit Airlines, they're fighting back. They said, to be clear, at no point did any of our agents suggest this guest, or any other for that matter, should flush or otherwise injure an animal.
Well, wait a second.
I mean,
She was flying from Baltimore. She said she considered letting Pebbles run free outside, but couldn't bear the thought of her hamster freezing to death or getting hit freezing to death. I mean, how cold was it?
Well, November 21st. I mean, if you're from Florida, if you're in Baltimore, that's
or
cold.
getting hit. What, getting hit on the tarmac? Pebbles has to learn to take care of herself at some point. She can't be coddled all her life. Here's the thing. Also, she thought about skipping the flight and tried to rent a car, but she was too young to rent one.
She's 21.
Yeah, most of them make you 25 to rent one without a.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
so it was a Sophie's choice.
It was awful. Transportation Safety Administration, TSA, they said they have no problems with carry-on hamsters. People are welcome to bring their
as
hamsters
long as you put them in the
checkpoint.
toilet.
But there's something wrong with this story. Do you think? I know you can't reason with crazy, but who in their right mind would kill an animal by flushing it? I can't think of a more horrifying way to go.
Here's what I think happened. I think
What do you think
I
happened?
think it's a cover-up.
What do you think?
I think this kid killed a hamster and is trying to pin it on Spirit Airlines. And then she got rid of the evidence and pinned that on Spirit Airlines.
Emotional support animals, usually dogs and cats, but we saw that peacock that got
Sure,
rejected.
of course, the emotional support peacock.
They've also included squirrels and sheep.
Sheep, of course, an
Turkey.
emotional support. That's more than an emotional support sheep, let me tell you. All right? I don't want to get into it.
That's what's gone through TSA.
I want an emotional support slow loris when I go. Now, the one problem with the slow loris is...
You'll never get to your plane on time? You'll
Well,
never get to the gate?
it's a great animal. I can feel little rice balls. But the problem is, if he gets scared, he's got weaponized elbows, whereby if you get hit by the slow loris and defending himself, it can induce anaphylactic shock.
Oh.
So you're going to want to clear the aisle for me and my emotional support slow loris if you see me. Or maybe I'll ride my emotional support giant Flemish rabbit.
Yes, the Flemish rabbit.
Just to add to the emotional support animals that are acceptable in this new day and age on airplanes.
Don't give me the stink eye.
And plus
Funky.
Yeah.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, what are we doing, Dan, on this snow day?
Oh, why don't we talk?
What do you want to do?
Why don't we talk home prices up in Lake County?
You mean property taxes?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't think the week would be complete if we didn't have a segment on property taxes.
Well, now it's going to be complete.
Yes. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
We just got the measuring sticks out. Hello, Belvedere. 9 inches of snow has fallen there this morning. Thanks to our friends on the old Channel 9 for giving us those numbers. 25 degrees outside. President Trump expected to sign a bill ending the latest government shutdown this morning.
Republicans will deliver more than our share of votes this morning. I urge my friends in the minority to stand with us on this bipartisan bill.
And they did in the end, the vote 240 to 186. We're watching a developing story this morning in Toronto, Canada, where police say the remains of 6 were found on the property of a home. The police there say it's the work of a serial killer, and they are not done looking. Thousands are welcoming athletes from more than 90 countries in the opening ceremony of the Winter Olympics at Pyeongchang, South Korea. 4-time Olympian luger Aaron Hamlin carried the flag for Team USA. Stocks are likely to not continue yesterday's free fall, if you believe Dow futures, which are pointing to a higher opening today. Dow finished about 1,000 points lower yesterday. All 3 major indexes suffered sharp losses. The snow isn't expected to stop for a few more hours. A winter storm warning will stay in effect until noontime for the core counties of Cook, DuPage, and Will. Out to the western suburbs, out near DeKalb, things will expire around 10 a.m. Numerous schools are closed, and the flight boards at O'Hare and Midway have been wreaked havoc upon by the snow this morning. Other stories we're following. Cleanup underway following a large fire on Chicago's southwest side. It happened early this morning in the 2900 block of West 63rd. No one in custody after a 17-year-old was killed in a shooting on Chicago's west side. A Northwestern University journalism professor accused of misconduct will take a leave of absence from the university. Alec Klein requested that leave until the university completes its investigation into the allegations. Chicago Auto Show kicks off this weekend. The nation's largest auto show runs through February 19, and it appears around the nation, but for our friends here in the Chicago area, it's a big day. It's National Pizza Day. That means discounts at a number of pizza chains and at least one freebie that we know of, except it's not pizza. Baskin-Robbins serving free slices of Sweetheart Polar Pizza from 3 to 7 p.m. today. Stars beat the Blackhawks 4-2. Big Ten hoops. Fighting Illini lost to Wisconsin 78-69 in the Valley. The Redbirds of Illinois State a win over SIU. The news, a service of Lowe's. Pro customers at Lowe's save 5% every day when you use your Lowe's Business Credit Account. 5% on all purchases, in-store or online, subject to credit approval, U.S. only. 8:35 is our time. We'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher wants the media to stop overreacting.
We dropped 1,100 points. That's 4.6%. The 4.6% happens about 3 times a year. It had nothing to do with Donald Trump. It has to do with interest rates likely rising because the economy is doing so well. It has to do with a normal, inevitable course correction, but yet the media never wants to miss a chance to show him up.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Shoot Point Blank is Chicago's leading shooting range and firearms store. Featuring 20 climate-controlled shooting lanes, complete retail store, and firearm education classes for all experience levels. Whether you're a new or expert shooter, now you can experience the Shoot Point Blank difference and see for yourself why so many people are talking about Shoot Point Blank.
I can tell you, I was impressed as soon as I walked through the door. The employees were really helpful, very patient, and knowledgeable, too.
My wife and I had a wonderful experience. We felt very comfortable and informed.
Brett was very friendly and respectful, and he answered all my questions. Because I'm new to pistols, I'm grateful he was patient and helped me decide what to buy for my new firearm.
For a huge selection of new and used firearms, ammo, and state-of-the-art indoor shooting range, visit them in Hodgkins, Mokina, Naperville, or Merrillville. Or check out shootpointblank.com. Experience the difference. Shoot Point Blank.
Ever since I was little, I imagined owning a bakery. With hard work, I made it happen. But after this weekend's robbery, I realized that I need to protect my dream with security.
I've got a great answer for you. Alarm Detection Systems, your local family-owned business, understands the threats you might face. Visit adsalarm.com or call 630-844-6300 and find out how we can protect you. License number 127000143.
I'm worried that my employees are costing me a fortune every month in damaged or missing inventory. I'm not sure how to solve this problem or who to turn to.
Alarm Detection Systems installs video cameras that watch over your place of business, reduce loss, and increase profits with advanced security. Visit adsalarm.com or call 630-844-6300. That's adsalarm.com or 630-844-6300. Alarm license number 127000143.
True story. So I urged one of my family members to call CertaPro Painters. He didn't do it, and that painting crew had to come back 3 times to fix their awful, sloppy mistakes, even paint on the floor, if you can believe it. Well, with CertaPro Painters, you get the best in the business. The attention to detail, color selection is truly unmatched. And now is the perfect time to get the interior of your home or business painted. The lower humidity provides an ideal environment for great coverage and quick drying times. They use fine quality paints with 0 or low VOCs, very little to no odor during application. Be an early bird and cross the first item off your 2018 to-do list. It's also the perfect time to spruce up your commercial property. Remember, each CertaPro Painter's business is independently owned and operated, so schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. That's CERTA with the C. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life.
It is 8:38. Let's get an update on that all-important ride to work if you're going this morning. In the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center, here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. As we continue to look at the traffic cameras and watch the TVs, we see traffic volume still fairly light throughout the area, but speed still severely reduced due to the snowy conditions. And Mike mentioned the flight boards, and havoc indeed. We're up to over 920 cancellations at Chicago's airports. Major delays on the CTA Red Line. Trains are being rerouted to the L track between Fullerton and Cermak to a sick customer. Eden's travel time 30 minutes either way between Lake Cook and Montrose. Kennedy 35 either way between O'Hare and downtown. The Eisenhower 50 minutes either way between 390 and the Circle. Stevenson about an hour and 5 minutes either way between 355 and Lakeshore Drive. The Ryan 35 minutes 95th to the Loop outbound 30. Speeds are reduced throughout the area and all the tollways on I-80 eastbound 8094 at Torrance. Report of a jackknife semi. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Cold day ahead. We'll have 4 to 8 inches of snow when we're all said and done. By about 9 by noon, anywhere from 8 to 12 inches of snow across the area. 28 degrees for a high temp. Little snow overnight and a low of 15. Snow in the morning, another 1 to 3 inches, and a high of 23 on Saturday. 26 right now. Next news coming up at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Get your truly free credit score and free credit monitoring from Credit Karma. Download the Credit Karma app today. Credit Karma. Get knowing.
Let it snow, But first, let's check the death count from the killer storm bearing down on us like a shotgun full of snow.
Well, Kent, as of now, the death count is 0, but it is ready to shoot right up.
Oh, my God. Damn you, snow!
Dan and Amy, and thanks for joining us on this
Snow Day
special edition, the Snow Day.
On this special edition of Dan and Amy.
Snowpocalypse.
And see what happens when Hayek meets Bunky. Will they fight? Will they run to the forest together?
We, speaking of animals, we've got more reaction from that Spirit Airlines story about the hamster that had to be flushed, according to one college student, her emotional support hamster. She says the Spirit employee told her either flush it or set it free. Michael Donovan tweeting his experience with Spirit Airlines. Spirit charges for everything. One time my carry-on was too big. They made me flush it down the toilet. So that's, to be fair, that's just a Spirit Airline policy. Now, also, Ann B. Davis's bowling ball tweeted at us that there was a third option.
Which was what?
That the young woman could have exercised the Richard Gere option with the hamster.
Oh, my God. See, too soon.
I mean, from Baltimore to South Florida, that's a short flight.
Oh, my gosh.
There's no cavity searches on a Spirit Airlines flight.
Oh, there are no.
You know what I mean?
Oh, she could have just put it in her pocket. Why'd she even ask? When she went through TSA, she got clearance through the checkpoint.
She got clearance up front. No, she called ahead to get clearance.
No, I know, but she could have just put the hamster and said, oh, yeah, I'm going to flush it, then stick it somewhere on her body, inside a pocket, perhaps. I mean, it's a dwarf hamster. Do you know how big a dwarf hamster is? It's half of the size of this.
Well, exactly.
And she could have just put it in her bra even.
To the point of the Richard Gere recommendation.
Stop. But it just makes me sick that she flushed it down the toilet.
Richard Gere's never had a problem with his emotional support hamsters on a flight. You notice that? All right, turning to more serious news.
Why do we have to be serious on a snow day?
Well, you wanted to hear from Jenny Willoughby.
I did.
Jenny Willoughby is the second ex-wife of Rob Porter, who is the outgoing White House staff secretary, who has resigned amid allegations from both of his previous wives that he was physically abusive to them. And this has created a real swirl against a guy who was supposed to be kind of the steady hand, not a controversial figure, General John Kelly, who's been pulled into this controversy for essentially vouching for Rob Porter. Jenny Willoughby on with Gloria Vanderbilt's kid on CNN yesterday talking about, basically the two Rob Porters.
So, I mean, I think you kind of hit on the crux of how I ended up here in your studio, right? Like, there's somebody who was able to rise professionally and have the accolades from so many, and even in the face of what's currently unfolding, to still have the support of so many people in the White House and former colleagues, that the idea that he could be so different seems to escape people. And yet, everyone in their daily lives has a different personality for different situations. I think this, for Rob, is just a really extreme and toxic version of that.
What do you think?
I think it's true. I mean, people have different lives. They perform differently at work. They can be excellent at their jobs, and they could be really bad people, and they could be really bad husbands behind closed doors.
Or there's just something else going on that you would never think. I mean, who would have thought Marlon Brando and Richard Pryor hooked up?
No, I don't know what story I like least. The hamster story or the Richard Pryor Marlon Brando?
Ooh.
Okay, both are gross. But here's the deal. All right, so you know the picture that's circulating everywhere with the black eye? that is not from this woman. It's from his first wife,
Yes.
Colby Holderness. And he claims that when he was being interviewed by the FBI, that he told them she got that black eye in a fight over a vase, that they were fighting over some vase, and the vase accidentally slipped and hit her in the eye.
Well, is that what
When they
Colby
were
is claiming, or is she claiming something different?
She has not come out and said exactly what happened
Mhm.
during that incident
Mhm.
that took place in 2005 in Florence, Italy.
Well, it's an important point that you raised, the FBI, because the FBI background check, clearance check, was an ongoing matter with Porter. They hadn't reached any conclusion, according to the White House, and so certainly the allegations of that sort were part of their investigation. Who knows where it would have led had this information not become public. But one other thing that Willoughby said I thought was really interesting, and frankly, I think it's a pretty good insight just into the human condition. I found her to be extremely credible. The question that she knows people are asking, even though they won't ask her directly, and Anderson Cooper didn't, well, how could you have stayed with this monster?
This is a question I specifically wrote that because that's a question that I'm asked a lot is why did you stay if he was a quote-unquote monster? And the reality is he's not a monster. He is a intelligent, kind, chivalrous, caring, professional man, and he is deeply troubled and angry and violent. I don't think those things are mutually exclusive.
And the people he works with may not have seen that side of him at all.
Of course not. Of course not. It's reserved for the most intimate and most vulnerable moments in his life.
You know, that's the sort of sociopathic profile, in a sense. This is the American Psycho I mentioned yesterday. Because he kind of reminds me, just in terms of profile, of Christian Bale in that movie. What do you think about that? I mean, I find that to be either she's doing an incredible job playing that role with that analysis, like she's Jodie Foster in Silence of the Lambs, or she has gained great insight from her experience with it.
I think everybody processes domestic abuse differently, and victims handle it differently. But if somebody beat me up like that, or not beat me up, like yanked from the shower, you lived a life of hell for 4 years, I wouldn't be so gracious.
Well,
so maybe she's a better person than I am. But she did say something on CNN last night that piqued my interest when asked about Hope Hicks. She said that if he hasn't already been abusive to her, he will be.
Well, look.
Ooh, I got you, girlfriend. Ooh.
Well,
I mean, that's a little, come on.
What's wrong with that? I mean, look, if he is the person that she's saying he is, and that the first wife is essentially saying he is, then why would you challenge Willoughby's advice and counsel to Hope Hicks? I would say if those things are true, and I find Willoughby credible, and certainly there are enough serious questions raised that he had to go, because you can't have somebody with those things swirling around him in a sensitive position like White House staff secretary, then why would you be surprised that she would offer advice to Hope Hicks? Wouldn't you expect her to? Wouldn't you, in fact, encourage her to, so that if
she
it's
doesn't
true,
become a victim?
Yeah, the same thing doesn't happen to the next woman? I mean, isn't that fair?
I guess so.
What's with the
I don't know.
like you've got you seems like you've got some resistance to believe the women.
No, I believe the women, but I don't. Jeannie Willoughby is just too nice to him. I think she's being way too. She's talking up his professional career for some reason. I don't know why. And then I would just not act like that if somebody beat me or mentally and physically abused me for 4 years.
Well, I mean, I think, maybe one way that she copes with it is intellectualizing it. And she sees this she understands that there's this person in a professional setting that everybody sees who's reached the heights of where he's reached, Harvard Law, and he's the White House staff secretary, and he's got up until a couple of days ago, the full confidence of the White House chief of staff. So I understand why people find it difficult to believe he's this guy, because they see this guy at work, but he's another guy at home, and she's trying to explain it to people. And I find that to be pretty insightful on her part, pretty self-aware on her part.
The Washington Post reporting that White House counsel Donald McGahn,
Mm-hmm.
he knew about these allegations for over a year.
Well, this was part of this FBI inquiry, but remember, we also have to go through the timeline here. There was the allegation or the knowledge of it with respect to the first wife, but my understanding is, this is just my understanding from what's been reported, is that they didn't know about the allegations from the second wife until this week. Is that accurate? I think it was the second wife came forward, and now you start to establish a pattern.
Well, his girlfriend before, Hope Hicks, called the White House and said, where are his ex-wives, because I need help getting away from him.
Well, in addition to
that was there.
And this is sort of a bit of a mea culpa that Raj Shah, who's the deputy press secretary, offered yesterday in a briefing on the topic.
I think it's fair to say that we all could have done better over the last few hours or last few days in dealing with this situation. But this was a Rob Porter that I and many others have dealt with, that Sarah dealt with, that other officials, including the chief of staff, had dealt with. And the emerging reports were not reflective of the individual who we had come to know.
See, that's what I'm saying. The emerging reports, it seems like they may have known, or certain people may have known, because of the FBI background check, which they're not a part of necessarily, other than to perhaps be interviewed if they have relevant knowledge. About the first wife and the divorce, and that was being looked at. And then emerging reports, then you establish these other women coming forward, and then a pattern starts to present itself. Kurt in Park Ridge, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
I guess what's going on is a sign of the times, but it seems to me some women are okay with it. I mean, you look at Sean Connery. Sean Connery, to this day, they ask him, do you hate your wife? And he says, yes, I do. And when they ask his wife, she says, only when I deserve it. I know it's crazy, but some women just don't seem to mind. I don't understand it, but maybe Amy could help us.
Okay, Kurt.
Yeah, Kurt, you're way off base. Nobody likes to be beaten, and I've never heard that about Sean Connery before.
I actually haven't heard that either. And I certainly haven't heard Sean Connery's wife say that. Well,
I think that caller has a hamster named Pebbles.
You are so dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
The evidence mounts. A toddler nearly drowns and symptoms are reversed. A stroke patient regains mobility. An autistic child speaks for the first time in 14 years. A quarterback who suffered multiple concussions and memory loss has remarkable improvement. What's the connection? They all underwent hyperbaric oxygen therapy. It's approved for a variety of conditions like concussion, cerebral palsy, immune deficiency, fibromyalgia, consequences of stroke, and more. The Hyperbaric Centers of Chicago are leaders in HBOT that accelerates the body's natural healing process by breathing 100% oxygen in a total body chamber with increased atmospheric pressure. Your insurance may cover hyperbaric oxygen therapy. To learn more, call Hyperbaric Centers of Chicago in Deerfield at 847-945-HBOT or visit hbot.md 847-945-4268 or hbot.md. Hyperbaric Centers of Chicago, the hyperbaric therapy experts.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity for Upstream-Ideas.com. The left is so accomplished in sensationalizing and rewriting history because they so doggedly sensationalize and rewrite the present. The Nunez memo is one of the better case studies in recent memory. We have sanctimonious gasbag Jim Comey complaining about weasels and liars, translation, House Republicans, for fulfilling their oversight responsibilities of the FBI, reminding us that there aren't a lot of schools or streets named after Joe McCarthy. That's something Comey will have in common with McCarthy. We have John Heilman, one of MSNBC's Russian collusion bots, suggesting that Paul Ryan is a Russian agent. Because Paul Ryan agrees that the Nunez memo should be released, you see, that puts Ryan on Team Nunez, which puts him on Team Trump, which puts him on Team Russia, which puts John Heilman in a 1959 Richard Condon novel because he's living in a fictional world. We have a DC press corps from a bygone era presently being feted on the silver screen for unearthing government secrets, while their descendants decry the notion of being handed a tidy summary of the same. We have Beltway big government guerrillas who will say and do, or not say and not do, whatever is required to achieve their singular end, the end of Trump.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I was always just sort of feeling tired. And so I said, maybe this will just help in overall vitality.
But in the past couple of years that I've been taking it, I find my energy has been great. I've been sleeping better. I don't get the cravings for junk food as often as I used to. I really attribute it to the product. It's so easy to use. Even if I want to take a capsule for my daughter and I just pull it apart to mix it in some juice or something, it's just something I'm very grateful to be able to incorporate. I really love the product. I think it's made such a difference.
Generally feel better, generally have better energy and more stamina. Breathing is easier, walking is easier. You're not in pain anymore, all right? I could go on and on.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Bob Aument, a founding partner of the law firm of Dassman & Aument and longtime personal customer of Signature Bank. Our firm recently left one of the larger banks to bank with Signature Bank, and it's been a refreshing change. With Signature Bank, we've been able to tailor banking solutions that fit the specific needs of our firm. Beyond that, Signature Bank is responsive, efficient, and timely in meeting those needs. If I have a request, I pick up the phone and talk to Mick O'Rourke, not someone at a phone bank thousands of miles away. Dassman & Aument needed more than what the larger banks offer, and we found that with Signature Bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
AM 560's Passport to Paradise contest is open to any legal U.S. resident, age 18 or older. To enter, download the AM 560 mobile app and fill out the entry form between January 22nd and February 9th, 2018. One grand prize winner will be randomly chosen on February 12th and will receive a 7-night trip for two to Riviera Maya, Mexico, including round-trip airfare and a junior suite at the Secrets Maroma Beach Riviera, Cancun. Approximate retail value $3,334. Visit 560theanswer.com for complete rules.
Highland Park Ford Lincoln's in the house. Here's Alan